Hello everyone and welcome to a review kind of thing. We're gonna talk Spider-Man. I don't care about the intro. Listen, there's gonna be spoilers ahead, heavy spoilers. If you haven't watched it, piss off. Alright, Toto.
Wait, is this, are we just gonna go straight into
We're
it
going
right
in.
now?
We're going in.
We're going, right. It's fucking amazing. It's
Yes.
so good.
Yes.
It's unreal. Wait, give me a minute.
Jesus, man. Holy.
Should we go in like order of the movie or just whip out random parts of the movie? Just,
Honestly, let's do both. Let's do a combination.
Okay. Not gonna lie, right. When British theaters compared to a lot of theaters around the world, like you see them online, is like America is mad when it comes to like their reactions in the theater.
I would love to go to American theater. Just the cheering, I love that. I love that.
There are certain theaters where it's fine, but when they start like jumping up, and me who I don't like to jump up, I just want to sit there. It's just like I want to watch this movie, man. But there's people jumping from me. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But my theater was like it was tame. It was pretty tame. But like when there was certain, I think there was when was the first like kind of reaction we had? Oh, Matt Murdock when he popped onto the scene. You know, the lawyer guy. That was like the first bit of cheering everyone had. You know, people were like, yeah, man.
So,
I was like,
the thing is, I did not know that guy.
You don't.
I am still confused that he had like some sort of power. I am a very casual Marvel fan. I am more interested in Spider-Man. I'm more of a DC guy. So
yeah.
I had no clue what it is. I thought I was a normal ass lawyer, and then all of a sudden he just whipped the. If you remember, he like whipped the reflex, and I was like,
yeah,
who's this guy?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain who he is, or
please? Yeah, please.
Yeah. So basically, he has no powers. He doesn't have any powers. He's blind. You know, he's from the stick. He's a blind man. I don't. His origin differs, but basically, like he's completely blind, and basically he's trained himself to basically like have extreme senses. You know, to literally like base all of his senses from hearing. So his reaction from the brick coming through a window, you probably heard that from like ages away. Come through the window and grab it. So he's basically a normal human. He's like Batman in a way, but he's blind. He's not rich.
Okay.
And a lot of other things, obviously. But he's the Daredevil. I mean, I would show you a picture.
Wait, is he the Daredevil?
He's the Daredevil. Yeah, he's Daredevil.
Why did you say that? I know that guy.
I thought you knew who the Daredevil was. Well, okay,
I did. I never watched the show Daredevil. I know him. I know what he can do. He's a blind superhero.
Yeah, he's a blind superhero. That's Daredevil.
But is he from the show?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Isn't this the first time he crossed over to a Marvel MCU movie?
So that's the first time him being the MCU.
Bro, that's his
first time.
Alright, that's cool. That's cool.
It's good.
I understand
so cool.
now. I understand the hype. But wait, to touch on the what you said about theaters, just the thing, my theater was not sold out. Like I woke up at 4 a.m. Like I don't know. I was like half asleep and I was like, hey, wait a minute, I'm awake. Let me order the tickets because it's it's available. So I ordered
the day before.
Yeah. No, not even 2 days before. 2 days before.
Okay, 2 days before though. Still
2 or 3 days before. But the thing is, we in the Netherlands have a very bad COVID situation. Everything closes at 5 p.m. Everything.
Ooh.
And it's a Thursday. It's a work day and a school day. So I think I'm lucky that I was free today. But I think because everything closed at 5 p.m., no one can go after work and after school to watch the movie. Because in total, I think 12 people showed up at the theater. It was empty, and I actually kind of love it. Like, I actually kind of love it. It was very just.
That is nuts.
It was insane. On the first day, by the way, the first day in the Netherlands. I think tomorrow, Friday, it will be sold out.
Oh, it's gonna be mad. Like I think my theater, we got the big like my little city here. We have quite a big screen. Every seat was taken. Every seat was packed, and we had like because I booked it like the day the tickets came out. I put myself like on like the ledge. There's like a little ledge which kind of looks over everything, and like if you look over the ledge, every seat, everyone is just like there. You see a bunch of heads. It's just like, oh my god, this is madness. And so when everyone saw Daredevil on the screen, they were like proper cheering. I'm like, oh my god. My friends beside me had no clue what was going on because they didn't know who Daredevil was. I'm like, you uncultured swines. How dare you not know who Daredevil is? But no, it was so good to see Matt in the, oh my gosh. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, I don't know if you've seen the series Hawkeye, have you?
No,
Yeah, I mean, are you going to see it?
probably, but I don't care about spoilers.
Okay. Spoilers for anyone who has seen Hawkeye. Okay, but on episode 5, at the end of the episode, Kingpin was there.
Oh, and Kingpin is a Spider-Man villain. Like what? Yeah.
He's like Daredevil's main villain.
Oh,
So
I thought it was Spider-Man's main villain. I'm
well,
not gonna
he's
lie.
Spider-Man's villain, but like he's mainly like connected to Daredevil most of the
Oh,
time
interesting.
because he's like connected to his origins and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be
Oh,
a confident.
that's why on Twitter someone said I just read like after the theater I went on Twitter and someone said maybe Spider-Man, like it probably doesn't happen. Maybe Spider-Man will show up in the next Hawkeye episode or whatever because of the Kingpin's thing. But I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. But now I understand why they think that. But
Yeah,
no,
I can yeah, I can understand why they think that. I can understand
yeah,
why they think that, but I
but
don't
yeah.
think I don't think so.
So
Maybe.
let's just talk about the MCU Spider-Man then in the beginning, like in this movie. So it mainly focused on Peter, as in the MCU Peter, and I'm actually kind of happy that they did that. Like I think it was cool to see, basically see how he has to deal with people absolutely despising him, but also having a few supporters. I like that touch. Like
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
main concerns I had is that in the last two movies of the MCU Spider-Man, New York doesn't live. Like it's literally there were no people, there's no crowds, nothing. Like in
yeah,
this movie, they finally listened, I think, and they added
yeah,
people, like actual New
yeah.
Yorkers.
I think one thing because I love the original trilogy, and I think there's the one things I love about the original trilogy compared to almost every other superhero movie, even though it's on this genre of superheroes, you don't see many superheroes saving civilians
No,
and
yeah.
then introduces us to like the world that they live in. You know
To
that
be
doesn't really
fair,
happen
because
as much.
I recently watched the Amazing Spider-Man literally yesterday and the day before. The Amazing Spider-Man actually does that as well.
It does that, yeah, it does do that, and you get the personality of the people who live in that city.
Yeah,
But in most Marvel movies, you don't really get that, even though they're superheroes. You know,
yeah. It's literally
you don't
just
get that much.
yeah, it's
It's
just
just kind of
CGI
there.
background. Yeah, and
It's just kind of there, and it's big action fights and all that kind of stuff. But no, I think in this movie in particular, it's good to see like the kind of the interaction with society. You know,
exactly.
it's good to see. I like that a lot. You know, the consequences to like basically well, being in that situation as Spider-Man. That was
Yeah,
really good. It felt like, oh shit, well they're screwed now because of what Peter did, or
yeah,
well, being Spider-Man.
and
But no.
also it affects his friends and stuff. His
Oh
wife.
yeah, that is I think we'll get that to like near the end of the movie, but I loved how what the trilogy built up to in the end. You know, I think in the end, when we get to there, but like I like how he, because I thought to myself with the first two movies, he's not really my Spider-Man,
Agreed.
because what Spider-Man goes around telling people who he is, you know, like being very childish, all that kind of stuff. But you get to the end of the movie, like this he is now Spider-Man. He has
It's
literally become Spider-Man.
have you also noticed? Have you also noticed the apartment?
Oh yes.
Have you noticed the apartment? Yeah.
When that happened and he was talking about rent, I was like, show the rent guy,
Yeah,
show the
yeah.
rent guy,
Bro,
come
I
on.
was hoping it was that guy, but no,
Yeah.
it was the. I could be tripping, but I'm pretty sure because it's fresh in my mind. It's the exact same apartment Tobey Maguire Spider-Man rented. Because
It does look very similar.
I remember the window placement and where the radio would have been, the bed, the layout. I'm pretty sure is the exact same.
Yeah, I think a lot of like in different iterations, like even the PS4 Spider-Man's, like a lot of their apartments are quite like similar, you know, they're not too tidy. They're quite like, you know, relatable apartments in a way. They're
Yeah,
not too like well, I forgot what the word is. They're just kind of in the middle ground
I get
with
what you
us,
mean.
like of the average person in New York.
But
But yeah, I did see the similarity. I was literally looking for the details. Like, is this the
yeah,
same apartment? Is this the same one? Oh my gosh! Because you know, Toby was in the movie. Is that the same place? Is that the bed? Is that the window? Oh,
but it's
but
to be fair for me. What I thought in my mind when that was happening, the ending scene is yeah, this is the real origins of Spider-Man. This is basically when Spider-Man's gonna begin. Like he's gonna live on his own. He doesn't have a team anymore, thankfully. He doesn't have a team anymore. He is just on his own. He has his own apartment. He has to rent. Most likely he'll be, a photographer for
Oh,
JJJ.
that would make a lot of sense if he actually like did that. And I think that's another thing as well is like Spider-Man is a person who works on his own most of the time. He doesn't have a team.
No, yeah.
And also he got rid of he's all the suits that he had are gone.
Yeah, bro,
He,
I was
all
literally I was literally one of the only guys in the theater, which of course weren't that many, who was screaming almost, or at least excited, because I saw a sewing machine. I
yeah.
saw that he made his own suit, and I was like, yes,
Yes.
finally.
Oh my gosh. He's not relying on Stark's suit anymore. But we're really jumping here. We went from Matt Murdock
to
straight
the
to the end.
beginning to the end.
Let's just continue. We're getting lost here. So after Matt Murdock, obviously he gets to this thing. Obviously he's getting rejected by all of the all the colleges, which is so shit. It's like it's such like you can actually feel it as well. Like the build up between the characters. Like you really feel like, fuck, man. It's like, of course, it's not going to go well because of what happened,
And the MIT, the last one, MIT, and that was the first section I realized. Yes, finally, they are. They're not gonna let Peter and his friends have a jolly old good time.
Yeah.
So they finally have like a setback, and I felt for them. Like I know there were certain setbacks in the last two movies, but they were not good enough for me. Like this is the first time it actually, like, I did not expect it. I thought this is a Marvel movie, happy endings. So I thought, okay, yeah, they're all gonna get accepted, yay! And then
no, it's just like no, then it's not going their way at all. It's a bit like how in Spider-Man 2, like Peter is just nothing is going his way.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Nothing is going his way at all. So it's just like. It was quite good. There were certain bits like the first like 20 odd minutes before the bridge scene. Before like in the first 20 odd minutes where it was a little bit slow, I was like, okay, let's just kind of move on just a little bit. Not much of it though. I didn't mind it. But it was getting to be like, okay.
I think it's because we were both anticipating something.
We were both just anticipating my boy. But I was the only one. I'm not the only one. I think everyone could probably think that, like, when you come across Doctor Strange in the movie, when he goes to ask Strange for help, he was a bit of a dick in this movie, but I mean, for good reasons as well.
I fully, like, I don't think it's out of character. Like,
no, it is his character. It is like, you remember, oh god, wow, he is a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
That's just how he is.
Well, he knows the consequences of everything.
I mean, of course, he knows everything. So. Like, I didn't mind his character, but I think it was good to have his character be pushed to the side for a lot of this movie.
I was happy as well. Like, I thought this would be a Doctor Strange, Spider-Man team-up movie.
That's what I was thinking.
And I was wrong.
You see a lot of the trailer. No, it's just like he's pushed to the side. That bit when like he was casting the spell. Oh god, that was getting on my nerves when Peter kept just like talking. I was actually feeling for Strange there. I was like, Peter, just shut up. Let him do the spell.
But it was, the scene was better than I had it in my mind, because I thought by the trailer, it was basically Doctor Strange. I did not think Doctor Strange was actually changing the spell, which also shows a bit of his character. Like, he actually cares about Peter, so he's like, fine, I'll change up the spell and I will include it, because I like you. You're a good guy. You're a good kid. So he changed it 6 times, which was corrected by Peter 5 times then. But I've fresh in my mind, so. But
it's fresh in your mind. Yeah, exactly. But
it's because of that, like, because of the changing nonstop. That's how the explosion happened. It made so much more sense.
Oh wait, so you said 5, right?
Well, Doctor Strange said 6 and Peter said 5.
Yeah. Don't you think that kind of connects with how many villains were in the movie?
Hold up, maybe.
Because he said 6, but maybe he did do 6, hence why Venom and Eddie Brock were there as well.
True.
That is actually mad if you think about it. Holy shit.
That's true, and that's why Peter said 5. And wait, okay, let's think. Let's think. Besides Venom, who's in there? Besides Eddie Brock, we have Goblin, Doc Ock. We have Electro. We have Sandman.
Sandman and Lizard.
let's.
Five.
It's
Bro,
5.
there's no way. Wait, seriously, was it really that subtle of a detail that?
It must be. It must be because Doctor Strange said 6. He's like he knows, but Peter corrected 5. There were 5 villains. Eddie at the end. Yeah.
He must have done like a 6th part of the spell, which maybe Tom didn't count. Is hence why Eddie was there. Oh, that's it. I just literally thought that out. I was like, wait, what?
Bro.
Oh, that's crazy. Actually, that makes sense why there was only 5 villains, not just like multiple different villains. Why was there only 5? Because
yeah, the Sinister 6, right? That's what people refer them to.
Yeah, but so they. Oh wow, that's mad. Discovery. That is a discovery right there. If it is a discovery, like a hidden detail, then that's mad. We figured that out. That's mad.
Honestly, yeah, might be the first one.
That is mad. First in the world, figure that out. Look at that. We're gonna get a bunch of theory channel, Mr. Codic theory channel. But after that, oh god, what happened next? I'm still.
After this was the like basically wasn't it the fight? Between.
He chases the admission person, and I love that bit when like he talks about like pleading, and then Doctor Strange is like, "Boy, wait a minute, you didn't ask for a plead when you got rejected," and then Peter's like,
yeah.
"No," and I was like, "No, like that, you deserve that, Tom. Come on, man, you do deserve that for literally doing that to himself." But then obviously the bridge thing happened.
Bridge scene, the first gasping moment of the movie, and it was happening very early, and I was very happily surprised about that. That meant we had a lot more to look forward to.
Oh, so good. Oh, the bridge scene was like, I love the confrontation. It just felt when obviously the man himself, Mr. Alfred Molina, Mr. Doc Ock, appears on the screen. Oh man, his theme. Hello. You could hear his theme. Because I listen to the OSTs all the time for Spider-Man. I'm a freak in that way. I know, okay, but I listen to his OSTs or their OSTs, and just hearing Doc Ock's theme.
Yeah, and then
just
jumping a little bit forward, but we're going back, as well as the Goblin's theme was just, and then Electro's theme.
When that popped up, I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh Jesus, that's so good. Oh my gosh, but
no, yeah.
The bridge scene was so good. I enjoyed it so much. It was
the sequence was amazing, especially with literally everything. Like with Doc Ock's first, like with the rumbling and basically him, just it's literally a continuation of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
because the fight scene was almost on par because it was in the same spirit.
It was so good. I loved the bit when shit got real is when Doc Ock said, "Oh, I should have told your girlfriend apart when I had the chance," and then Peter's was like, "You what, mate?" And then then the choreography between like his arms and Doc Ock's arms is so good. I love that.
And then he said to his own arms, what did he say? Something like, we got competition. We got competition. And that whole sequence of basically not Toby, Tom like using his 6 arms to, it was
fight. The choreography was great, and I just like. He felt more. Doc Ock felt more intimidating because obviously in the original Spider-Man 2, where Doc Ock, it was puppeteered. Everything was puppeteered. There was a bit of CGI, but obviously they couldn't CGI all of it. But in this one, he looks so intimidating.
It was insane. It was powerful.
Like when he steps on that car and it literally explodes. He's not even fazed by it. He literally steps on it, boom, and he's just like, "What's up?
Yeah, man.
What's happening?"
And also, I also appreciate the fact that the Marvel Universe, they also said it themselves in a later scene, the Marvel Universe is more they're technology, they're advanced, like technological
advanced.
Yes, and basically using the OP Stark Iron Man, whatever it's called, I forgot what it was called. Anyway, using that to hack into Doc Ock's.
Yeah, the nanotech. That was. I didn't think of that. I thought to myself like he's gonna have the nanotech. He's gonna become strong, but I didn't think. Oh wait a minute, Peter is the man in control. He can literally control it.
Yeah.
So at first, when he started angling himself, it was great. It was like, wow, thank God, because Doc Ock is super OP. He is so overpowered. Mm-hmm. So that's a good way to keep him under control throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And honestly, they nailed the villains. All the villains were done justice. Like
I think there was one character, one villain where I have a little qualm with, but everyone else is like, I love him. I love him a bit to bits. Like everyone has a motive apart from one, but
we'll go to that later. I'm actually really curious because I don't know who it is.
we'll go a bit more in depth that later. But
Yeah, cool.
all the villains. So like usually you would think, oh god, there's more villains because Spider-Man 3 did a load of villains and that didn't go too well.
I actually did not
but
mind the Spider-Man 3
yeah,
villains.
it was fine. It was just obviously Raimi didn't want there to be multiple villains. It was just Sony like do more villains, Venom, Venom, Venom. But like with this one, you could tell there was intention from the start of what they were going to do. It's just so good. All the villains are great.
Yeah.
I do love the chemistry, like the overall chemistry between Doc Ock and Spider-Man. It was great. I love Alfred Molina is so good as Doc Ock. He hasn't lost his touch in 17 odd years.
None of them have lost their touch.
None of them have. Willem Dafoe. Oh, get into Willem Dafoe later.
Well, isn't he the next one, or was it Electro who's next? I think it's Electro.
No. He well, obviously he appeared on the bridge. He was going to attack him. And obviously they got teleported, and Doc Ock went to his cell. But yeah, so that was like the only.
So that means Electro. No, that means Defoe was first, and then Electro was last.
Yeah. So went Doc Ock. They saw Goblin on the bridge, but then they went after Electro, thinking it was the Goblin.
Yeah, but that I want to touch on something on the scene there. Literally, the small thing which was mentioned later in the movie when Doc Ock said Norman or Osborn, like he knew.
Oh. Yeah, he knew. It was like it was building up. It was like, oh god, wait a minute. Does he know that he's actually like deaded in his world? It's like, oh my god, it's building up. So it was all great. The one thing I do like. Usually, I don't like this character too much. Well, I don't mind him, but I don't like him. Was Ned. I loved Ned in this movie.
Bro, I mean, I didn't really fully love him in this movie. Like Ned, in my opinion, he's like a Cisco from Flash. If you watch the Flash, like a Cisco kind of character. And to me, I don't know. I don't mind him. I do enjoy it. He's like comedic relief, and I treat him as such. But he's definitely my least favorite part. But in this movie, I tolerate him. Like it's
I could tolerate him.
Yeah. That's like I still don't really like this fanboy-ish in movie fanboy-ish guy who's like basically trying, as the movie creators basically trying to place a fan into the movie, if you know what I mean. Like the fan, he will react how a fan will react.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I don't like, but that's basically the end of my criticism. Besides that, I actually liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. Like in the other two movies, I felt like he was so. Like every time he was on the screen, it would always be a really forced joke put out there. I mean, obviously there were a lot of jokes literally coming from Ned every time he was on the screen, but like I didn't mind them this time around. I actually didn't mind them. It was okay. A lot of them were actually well placed kind of jokes rather than just like, what are you doing on that computer? Porn. It's just like, well, why?
it's forced.
Why?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
This is like, why would you say that? No, like. So, but I did like him in this movie. He was good fun. He was good fun throughout. And there was one bit in particular I liked with Ned, who was like further down the line. But moving on to the next scene, where it
was the cell scene, right?
Was it cell scene? Oh yeah, the cell scene was great. I loved like how Doctor Strange and Peter were going back and forth with each other, and Doc Ock was there as well. It's like there's multiple universes, and he goes, "There are multiple universes." Really, it's like, watch this. Do you know it was Peter Parker? And I love that so much. Like, well done at proving your point. That was really good. See,
wait, no, he asked like, "Do you know Spider-Man? Do you know Peter Parker Spider-Man?" He says, "Yes." Is this Peter Parker? No. There you go. The timing was good. It was fast. It was solid.
It was just straight to the point. I was like, yes, that's I love that so much. Doc Ock's interaction with everyone is great. I love it. Yeah. And then what happens after that? Oh, so then they all go searching for...
The Lizard guy was already in. Lizard was already in.
He was already there. You can actually tell, like, Doctor Strange already fought the guy. He got scratch marks all over his face. He was like, bro, I've literally just fought the Lizard. I've had enough of this. You go find them.
Yeah.
You did this. Then they basically have their base of operations with Zendaya, Ned, and Peter, and the whole crypt thing. It was great. I don't know. Everyone, I love that bit. Was like Ned was like, "Oh, that's a torture device." I just love that. That was good fun, actually.
Yeah,
It was like,
for me that was
why
a
are
little
you
bit
so excited about
bizarre.
that? Why are you so excited about a torch device? What? What's wrong with you, Ned? What happens after that? They go after Electro, don't they? After this, after they find out, look into the
They
internet.
go to
Oh,
the woods. They go to the
yeah.
woods, thinking it's the Goblin. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah, they think it's the Goblin because they think, oh, monster in the sky. That's just like the Goblin.
Yep. And then
Um,
I also thought it was the Goblin, but then we heard I like the Electro theme song. Like I watched the amazing.
yeah, you just watched the
I
Amazing
watched it.
Spider-Man. So,
I watched it for the first time yesterday. The second one is where he was in, and in that movie, like a little bit of that movie, like they used the theme with what was happening visually on screen. I was kind of hoping they would do the same in this movie, but it doesn't matter. The theme is still solid. It's amazing.
yeah. They don't want to overdo it, you know. They don't
Yeah.
want to overdo it. But when he like wakes up and then attacks Peter, that little dubstep bit that was good. I enjoyed that. You know, a little
Yeah.
callback to his theme. Because I think that's the only time you actually hear it in this movie.
No.
Do you hear it again?
No, you heard it. I think in the bridge scene and that scene. And that's it. Yeah, 2 times.
What, the Electro's theme?
Electro's theme. You heard it on the bridge as well. I remember.
Oh, okay. I must have been too focused on the scenes that was going on in front of me. Then Sandman turns up.
I did not expect him. Sandman. Wait, quick question. I did not know the actor died. Did the actor die? Because they reused the actor from Sandman. I saw that they reused a scene at the end of the movie from Spider-Man 3.
That's what I noticed as well. I don't think he's dead. It's just that if you've seen him in his current age, he is not. He is like aged the worst out of all the actors.
I really want to look it up, but wait, let me just.
I forgot his son.
You guys gonna see YouTube? Oh, you're not.
I'm doing it just now.
Yeah.
He Thomas Hayden. He is
Thomas Hayden Church, 2021.
I don't know why they didn't actually like. Well, I mean, I can kind of see it.
I mean, it's not that bad. Like Momoa looks the same almost, like Doc Ock. You have de-aging technology.
Yeah, I still, yeah, that's the thing, because obviously there's de-aging. They did that for Willem Dafoe, and he
plus,
was
like in the Maguire universe, except for of course the people who died, they aged. So Sandman is alive at the end of Spider-Man 3. He could have also aged. So I think maybe he's either retired, he has some sort of illness, or he's dead. I don't think he's dead. But yeah, or he just simply did not want to return.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to, because I swear that when he like turns back into his normal self, spoilers, he does like the same kind of animation or movement as like the one in Spider-Man 3.
I've watched so much Spider-Man 3. I recognize that was from the movie.
Yeah, like I instantly noticed that. I literally sat there and I was like, that's from Spider-Man 3. So, I recognize that.
Yeah. What I thought he died. And they used they did a Leia approach, when they reused scenes from from all the movies.
God, yeah, that was mad. Yeah, he was voice acting, but
did he voice act? Was it his voice?
That was his voice.
All right, cool. Then actually, I'm really happy that they used his voice because I do not remember him sounding like this. So I thought they got like a different actor for him for his voice.
No, so that is his voice. I 100% recognize that voice.
Then I'm happy because that was one of the criticisms, not really criticisms, one of the things I did not like. But now that I know it's his voice, then boom, it's good.
Yeah,
nostalgia will take over. Nostalgia will take over because his voice acting, I'm not gonna like. If I'm like, it wasn't the best. I think he's out. I think he's out of practice. With acting, maybe that's why they also did not really want him to return to live action. Maybe. I'm not sure, but
maybe he's just not in his good. He's not in a good physical state to be able to do.
No, I saw him. He's 61 and he looks still. He looks normal.
Looks. I don't know. He might be all right. I don't know why he didn't do any kind of proper physical acting, but hey,
maybe he was busy. Like the whole year he was recording something else, or I don't know. But anyway, because it's him. Nostalgia will literally take away the criticism that I have.
Yeah, there we go. But he turns up, and he was basically what I was expecting in this movie because
he was a good guy.
Yeah,
Still
he
is.
was the good guy. He was the good for good reasons. Tobey Maguire let him off. He let him live. He can go be free. He forgave him. So of course he'd be like, "Hey, let me help you, buddy. You help me. I'll help you."
And then
But
he
then,
immediately distrusts him because it isn't his Peter.
yeah, his experience. He's like, he doesn't trust anyone. He said it multiple times. I don't
Yeah.
trust no one. If it isn't Tobey Maguire's Peter, then I can't trust anyone. But I'm glad he helped out because it's Electro. It's gonna be tough to beat that guy.
Bro, Electro, I
So,
think I'm talking as a casual, but I think Electro power-wise is the most powerful from the bunch. Like even
yeah.
before he got the Stark thing, I think he's the most powerful. He can do the most damage.
Yeah, he could actually. Yeah, I think after like Electro would be like Doc Ock because he's insane. Like or Sandman. I mean,
Honestly, I think maybe Goblin, not because of the damage he can do, but because of just the. He's like Goblin is like Spider-Man's Joker. Joker
yeah,
is no power, but he is definitely the most dangerous villain of Batman because of his insanity.
yeah, and Goblin literally has power. Maybe
True,
not
like
as he is.
not as
He
strong,
has
but
good
he's
mind.
wait.
Go
Yeah.
on.
No, I
You
wouldn't
go on.
say like he has strength, like super strength. I didn't even know that. Like not super, but he got powers, if you will. He even said it himself. Like he is stronger than he normally is as normal Osborn.
Yeah. So I think. I mean, yeah, he was good in this movie. Like I'll tell you who my favorite villain was as we go along, but I think you could probably figure out who my favorite villain
Well,
was.
I think I fully have to agree with what you think it is.
Yeah, I like when we get to that point, I'll explain why they are my favorite. But Sandman helps out Spider-Man and takes out Electro. And I'm very glad that they went with, Jamie Foxx's just normal look, They went back to he came back in his physical form.
And he
he's
even
basically
was even happy with how it looked. Like, oh, I look different.
Yeah, I'm pairing this well. So right there, he's got motivation to stay here. He's basically human, but 10 times better than he was in his world.
And he also felt the different frequencies of being in another Earth.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think what they tried to, pardon me, what they tried to imply is the frequencies on like the MCU Earth. Somehow he can control that better or more powerful than on his Amazing Spider-Man 2 Earth.
It's technically advanced than most of the universe.
Oh, maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason. Yeah.
It's more technically advanced, so more things to kind of control than when he was in his world. Yeah. So already motivation given to us because he's thirsting for that electricity. Yeah. He gets sent to the jail. Then obviously Sandman gets a bit like, "What are you doing, boy? What was that?" And then starts distrusting this Peter.
And then Doctor Strange put him in the cell.
It was Spider-Man.
No, Doctor Strange.
The web put Sandman in the cell.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange put him in there, right?
No.
Oh dang! Well, I was too hyped for that scene.
Doctor Strange kind of just let Peter do his thing, and he gave him the
Yeah, I know about the web slinger thingy, but there was something like he didn't originally want to put Sandman in there, but he had to do it. I thought it was because Doctor Strange showed up. That's right. I remember. Why was he urgently putting Sandman in there? Because he didn't at first.
Because basically he wanted to convince Sandman just to help him out, but then Sandman was starting to retaliate, and then Peter just went. Psst,
oh, is that why? Oh yeah, okay. I think.
Yeah, he just did like a little at the last second, then sent him off to the cell.
I also love how the tree thing, like he missed at
first.
Oh
yeah, I was literally about to mention. I was like, I'm so glad it just like put the tree when it's like, is that a tree monster? No, that's just a tree. That's just a tree. I love that bit so much.
That was funny. I agree. Yeah.
The banter between all the villains was great. I loved it all.
I love how they actually took the time to have the villains interact with each other.
Like, it was good. It was good.
It's such like I'm not gonna lie, for the MCU especially, I expected them to overlook that, but they didn't, and I'm really happy.
No, I think it was kind of surreal seeing all like Electro's villain talking to Doc Ock's villain, then talking to Dr. Connors, the lizard. You're just like, this is kind of happening right now. This is kind of freaky. Yeah. And then obviously, after all they're kind of captured, we then go after the boy, Green Goblin. And literally, like, the next scene of the Green Goblin is him talking to the Mask, which I'm so glad they did.
It was so cool. I was like, this is literally an extension of the freaking first Spider-Man movie because
Yeah.
of that, and it's so cool.
As soon as I saw it hanging on the corner of the bin, I was like, he's going to be talking to Green Goblin as Norman. Yes. And then he smashes it, and I'm like, what? Great stuff.
I
Love
got
it.
spoiled on his ultimate look, Goblin's ultimate look.
His final
look, yeah, way before the movie and stuff came out, like months ago. It just came across on my Twitter. So when the mask broke, I did not really have a reaction because I was expecting it. But it was still.
I kind of saw it, but I didn't expect it would be smashed like that. You know, I was expecting like, I don't know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man to punch the living crap out of him at the beginning or whatever, and then it smashes, then he retreats, and it becomes this. But no, it was actually Norman who smashed it, and then the next scene after, when like Tom finds him with May, I was like,
yeah, he went to feast. He literally went to feast to.
I was like, what's going on here? Why? As soon as I saw Norman May, I was like, something's not right here. Why is he gone to May?
But
why is he gone to?
Well, yeah.
I thought the one scene I thought of when he went to May there, the one thing that first thing came to mind was, if you don't attack him, where attack his heart, like that scene there. I was like, you're not doing this to me. Don't go near May. Don't go near me.
Before we go more in depth there, I really like, because I did not expect Norman, and I was really happy they did the same with Doc Ock. They, in a very short time span, recreated the arcs of the movies. So it was first normal Norman, who of course was still in contact with the Goblin, and then at the latter half of the movie, we had Green Goblin. Like, we had Norman first, Goblin second. Then we had Doc Ock, villain version. After a bit, we had normal good guy version. Like, it basically mirrors or rhymes with the arcs they have. And it was cool to see Norman, you know, being
in his fragile state,
actually going voluntarily with Peter to go back and see if he can be fixed, because he wanted to be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could generally sense as well that he wants to be fixed.
Yeah. And then we go to I don't know if there's much more to talk about that scene.
I did feel a bit sorry for Norman, because I know that he has two personalities. There's the Goblin who basically takes control, and then there's normal fragile Osborn, and it's just like, I did feel sorry, because like, he's in this world. You know, there's no Oscorp. It doesn't exist. The person who's living in someone is living in his house. And he's on his own, and he's worried about his son. And it's just like, I do actually feel kind of bad, but I have a feeling I know where this is going. You know, I feel like I know what's going to happen. So obviously, he takes voluntary. He takes him back to like the dungeon.
Yeah.
Then Strange appears. Actually, no, before that, sorry. He finds Doc Ock. He meets Doc Ock. He's like, Octavius? Octavius, is that you? And then Doc Ock's like, Norman? I was like...
No, I think it was him first. He was like...
Yeah.
Osborn? Is that really you?
Oh, no, he's Doc Ock turns around. He goes, Octavius? And then Octavius turns out and goes, Norman?
Oh, yeah. It's like, what happened to you? He said, what happened to you? So what happened to you? You were dead.
You're dead, man. You're dead.
And then I think it was that moment when Sandman basically told what happened. He was like, he died as well as Doc Ock. You died Norman died by, he got impaled by his own glider, and you Doc died you drowned in the river with the machine. And he was like, still his evil thing. He was like, no, the last time I remember, and then we get to, it's exactly what most of us expected. We get to know when they were wiped, and it gives us a timeline, like before they die, or in Doc Ock's case, right before his thing got switched off, because then he had him in the chokehold, of course. So
when like at the end of the movie?
At the end of the movie, when he had Tobey's
he was choking him
like this, and so before basically they all got transported before the deaths, and in Doc Ock's case, it's the death of his villain persona.
Yeah, it's like literally like just as he's about to turn good, that's when he was like
Yeah.
zapped out and
So
then placed back in again.
before his villain death, if you will, because he
Yeah,
was a
it
good
was
guy after.
villain.
He was
Yeah,
a
he was
good
a good
guy
guy.
before that.
And
So
I think it all kind of connects really well to when he turns back. When he goes back to that world, he's like, he's good. He's a good guy.
but that's the
And it's
thing,
like,
we don't know what happens because everyone got cured. Literally
yeah, so
everyone. But yeah, we have to go
literally
there
everyone.
later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. What happened? So,
Jesus
obviously
Christ.
all...
One thing, real quick.
Oh, go on.
We have been recording for 40 minutes.
40 minutes? And we're barely like halfway through.
This will be an ultra long special. I thought we were like maybe talking for 10 minutes.
Okay, we kind of like need to rush through this. I mean, I don't know how long
I
you want this.
don't
Like,
care about rushing.
You don't care? Okay, right.
Let's talk literally 5 hours. I don't care.
Yeah. So I think after that, then Strange appears and he puts him in his cell.
Yeah.
And then this shit, like, this is the bit I kind of felt a bit like conflicted. What would I do? You know, he's literally about to send them back to their deaths. You know, Strange is like, they have to fucking die. They have to. It is literally their fate. It is what they were meant to. Is like.
But we missed the
fate.
scene before. Like it was before, I'm pretty sure, when May basically told Peter, "Listen, we have to save him to help him," and that's why Peter, you know, told Strange about that. Like, no, don't send him back yet. So otherwise,
we can help him. I think it's probably because as well that Norman feels quite normal. You know, he's just like he's actually like talking normally with everyone. So he's probably he doesn't know about his other persona. So it's like, oh, maybe I can actually help him. You know. I could change him all.
Exactly. And then basically Peter tried to make his case. He said, "Oh, listen, we can cure them. I'm a smart guy, you know, we can do this and this and this." And then I don't know if you want to say it.
Oh, I don't know.
What?
Oh my god, wait a minute. Actually, no, that happens after the Strange fight.
It happens after Strange fight?
After that's like the Strange fight what happens. I love that. The whole fight with
it was
Strange.
Cool. It finally showed that yes, Spider-Man is one of like the best heroes when it comes to powerfulness. Like he is good and he's smart. I'm really happy they used his smarts. They didn't like make him dumb in that fight. Using mathematics in his head and stuff, like it shows his brilliance. Yeah. And therefore he could, you know, with his normal superpowers, like his brain and his brawn, he defeated one of the most powerful people in the MCU.
A man who took on Thanos one-on-one. Just thinking about that. He took on Thanos one-on-one. It's madness. It's madness. And I also quite like as well, like when he got taken out of his normal body, you know, he's in his spirit form. I think the whole reason why he could do the whole...
It was the Spidey sense, right?
It was the Spidey sense. Because the Spidey sense is his mind, basically. His soul was out of his body. Because of his spider sense, his mind was still there. He was just telling his body what to do, I think. Yeah. Like, it wasn't explained.
Like it was instinct, I'm pretty sure. Like, the sense instinct.
You can kind of see while he's in his spirit form, his spider sense is going off the entire time.
Really? I did not see that.
That's the reason why I'm saying this. Because when he was in his form, he's like, why is that going on? And all you see is his, like, spider sense doing this.
I did not see that. I thought it was just, like... I did it by... basically thinking logically, but I did not see the interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's why he was like, oh, this is kind of fun, because he was basically controlling it with his mind, and Strange didn't even, because Strange doesn't know about his spider sense, so he has no clue why Peter's doing that.
Yeah.
So that's the conclusion I've kind of come to on that he was basically just like using his spider sense to move his body. Because I mean, that's kind of what happens anyway, you know, when he's in his normal body.
Yeah.
His spider sense basically tells his body to boom,
to do this. Yeah, and because his brain is gone, basically, where he has to process it, it just does it itself, you know. The thinking part has been cut out because he's been ooh, and I think he also liked the feeling of like the floating.
As well, yeah.
But basically, Strange unknowingly cut out the part which kind of makes his Spidey sense a bit slower. It's him basically processing it, and because of that, it's literally instant. Because there's no processing anymore.
It's instantaneous. I loved it so much. It was great. That whole bit was the whole Strange and Peter section was good. I think it was well deserved for kind of Doctor Strange. I mean, he did look like he's looking like the bad guy in that situation, but I mean, it was the right thing to do. But you don't want to go through with it. I mean, you want things to happen later. Then obviously he gets Strange stuck in that world. I'm like, holy crap! He just defeated Doctor Strange. He took his ring thing. Also, also, I mean, going back a little bit, when Ned spoke to Doctor Strange, I have a feeling that's like connecting to something, and I don't know why. Because he's like, I have magic in my hands, and you know, I think I have magic in me. But I don't know if it will, considering what happened at the end of this movie. You know,
maybe it's just a little bit of foreshadowing.
Maybe foreshadowing for something. People are like, even when I was in the theater, someone was talking about like the Hobgoblin, and I'm like, really? Really? You still believe he's gonna be the Hobgoblin? Okay.
Was that a theory then?
That was a theory that he was gonna become the Hobgoblin.
Oh, and that explains a future scene, which I will go back to later when it happens. But now I understand why it's a little bit added later, but it's way later in the movie. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll come back to it.
So he comes back, then he starts saying, hey, I can fix you, but I'm gonna need some help. And then it gets the scene with Norman, where he fucking leans on the glass like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
I was so hyped.
What?
I was so hyped. I was like, yes, this is fan service. I'm a fan. Service me. Service me. This is exact. The setup
it was quite well placed, not gonna lie. It was alright.
I did not see it coming. I did not see it coming. Like, they build it up so it makes sense in the dialogue, but I did not pick up on it, and that means it's good writing.
I was not expecting either. Like, I knew there was gonna be references. I thought it was gonna be mainly with certain characters later on, but like, I did not expect it to be actually legitimately happen with him saying, you know, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
Yeah.
My theater like erupted when that happens. When it happened, everyone was just like, "Hooray! Go on!"
Yeah.
It was not expected. So I was sitting like just like this. Okay, and my friends was like, for fuck's sake, god damn it! But
I was like, yo, I was just like that. Like, I people might not like it. Like, I try to not scream, so I never do that in movies. But I am definitely that guy that makes sounds. Like, I'm sorry, that's me.
There was one time where I legit went boom, 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 boom. There was one time, and now we'll get to that bit later. And I'm sure you know what bit I'm talking about.
I actually don't. I don't.
Really? Oh wow. Okay, never mind then. We'll get to that bit. We'll get to that bit. So he takes.
Oh no, I do know. I think I do know.
I think you're starting to catch on.
I think.
But basically, then he takes them all to Happy's flat, and I'm just like, what?
The camera was so funny.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, he is taking 5 of the most powerful villains in the MCU universe to a flat together.
The Sony universe, like the Spider-Man universe.
What?
It's so funny.
It boggled my mind. You have Electro, Sandman, the Green Goblin, Doc Ock in one room, like not even like no restrictions, just like they are there. They could literally go crazy right now. It's like the stakes are quite high when you think about it in that respect. It's like, oh my god, Tom Holland has quite a bit of effort here. So he goes to the back. It gets a fabricator, which I think is broken. That machine, that machine's hella broken. You know, literally can fabricate anything.
Oh, is that what you mean? I thought that was like literally physically broken.
It could literally fabricate everything.
Yeah.
I love how Doc Ock the entire time was just like, I don't need to be fixed. How dare you? Yeah, he's just like an angry dog, you know, an angry chihuahua, just going mad.
There's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you guys. I'm perfect. Like, I'm exactly how I'm supposed to be.
I thought the bit I found quite funny was how, like, as long as you don't make a mess, and then Sandman just sits on the sofa and just puts sand everywhere.
To try to, like,
I'm just like,
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But
I
was quite like,
well, yeah.
Go on.
No,
you go.
I think I wanted to move a bit forward. So you go.
I was gonna say I quite like Sandman's motivation throughout. He does have motivation, which is just he wants to go home to see his daughter. He just wants to go home. He
wants to be reformed to his own form, right? Or what was it?
I think he just wants to go. He just wants everything to be done, just so he can go home. He just wants everything to be done.
For some reason, I forgot he can change back into a human.
Yeah, but he barely did that the entire time.
I know, yeah. That's why I thought the actor might have died or something. But I for some reason thought he could not turn back to a normal human. That's why he wanted to be cured so he can see his daughter normally.
I mean, he could go into human form whenever.
Exactly. That's why I remember it. So I was like, oh, why did he want to? But I think he just wants to go back. That's it. Not to be fixed. He just wants to. I mean, to be fair, there's a line that says, "We need to wait until the social experiment that the kid is doing is done, so we can all go back. I want to see my daughter." Yeah. Something like those lines.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about what happens. He just wants to see his daughter again.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. I do quite like while everything like Peter's making all these machines and all that kind of stuff. I like the chat that Elektra and Sandman have. It was quite funny, in fact. They're like, so what happened to you? I worked at Oscorp and we worked on electric things and I fell into a vat of electric eels and then I came out. So he was like, oh, I fell into I forgot what the
particle accelerator.
I fell in particle accelerator. He's like, oh, interesting.
And then say like, well, we need to watch your step. You need to watch out where you fall.
It's just like, my God, all villains seem to do this, don't they?
Joker as well, DC.
Literally. So then he goes with Doc Ock first, and he makes the chip.
Well, before that, this is what I want to say.
Oh yeah, you go.
I just really like how, like, the villains, basically everyone except for Peter and Osborn were all talking and doing the stuff, and I like how Osborn and Peter both being scientists, working on it, and Osborn being really, really impressed by Peter's intelligence.
I love that. Like, he was looking around at all this new tech. He's like, wow.
Yeah,
this is really. I quite like that when he's like exploring this new world. I just loved it all. It was really good. Osborn in that scene was great, and I was like, this is getting way too comfortable right now. So then obviously, like I said, he makes a chip for Doc Ock. I'm like, wait, is he actually going to cure Doc Ock? Is he actually going to cure him? Obviously, he brings it up, goes upstairs, puts a chip in him, and he just fucking dies. And I was just kind of like. Wait, is he actually? Yeah. I was like, in that scene, I was like, oh God, I think like Tom's killed him, and they're just gonna go fucking mental.
Yeah,
but then he comes back alive. I'm like, oh, thank God.
And he's normal.
You could see like Elektra was about to like go apeshit because he literally just killed Doc Ock, but no, he fixed him. He fucking fixed him, and I was like, oh, because he's so innocent. Doc Ock's so innocent. Because I think you forget that, in Doc Ock, he is actually generally a really nice guy. He was such a nice guy.
I'm really happy that they did fix him first, and he is literally a good guy again. Like I said, with the parallel, the rhyme, if you will, like his arc.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was good. I really liked how he just became. I was like, I miss this Doc. I miss this guy when he was just nice and really wholesome.
Then the next one was Electro. With the,
as soon as I saw the ticking device, I was like, I know 100% he is going to remove that at the last minute and realize that he actually doesn't want to be normal. I literally I was like, I know what this is going. As soon as I see a ticking device, as soon as I see a time thing, last second, it's not going to go through with it. Who was after Electro? It was
after Electro. They tried to fix Osborn.
Oh, right, yes.
Then, when they mentioned Osborn also being fixed, then Goblin returned. And then Electro felt something in the air or something. He felt like
the entire time.
And then a bit after, Peter's Spidey senses went off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bruh, that was so good. When it was Spider senses going off, it was almost a bit. I'm not gonna be fucking cringe or anything. It was a bit like Among Us. It was like, who's the killer?
No, honestly, yeah.
Who's the killer? Who is it? Who is it?
But no, I had no clue what they were leading to. I was like, what is he sensing? What is happening? I thought maybe it meant the return of the other people, but eventually it was something else.
Yeah, no, I was. My thoughts like, okay, someone is thinking or doing something wrong, and Tom has sensed it, but I don't know who it is. I was thinking it was gonna be Electro, but then I was like, something's not right with Norman, and then he webs up Norman, and then he goes to full Goblin mode, and I'm like, oh shit, he's webbed him up. What can he do now? And then obviously the mind games come in with Goblin. It's like, these aren't curses. These aren't things that need to be healed. These are gifts, and I'm just like, oh fuck, and Goblin is,
and that's exactly what Electro needed.
It was like that, and then gets the arc reactor from the machine, and then everything goes apeshit. And I'm not even joking here right now. I'm not a big fan of most fight sequences in a lot of Marvel movies. There aren't many memorable ones. I mean, the only one I can probably come to mind is like maybe Infinity War, when the armies come together. That's not like a fight, like one-on-one sequence. There's not many of those.
I actually don't really particularly care about the fight scene. I just care about the emotional.
Yeah, the emotional drive behind it. The emotional drives behind it. Yeah. But this fight in particular, in that building, between Goblin and Spider-Man.
It was brutal. And I loved it.
It was brutal. It was amazing because it's like it makes you realize, holy shit, the Goblin. You should not fuck with the Goblin. Like he was just strutting around, bang,
and
sent him through.
Yeah,
floors.
And he did freaking wrestling moves on the guy. He did wrestling. I love it so much.
He was probably doing wrestling moves and slamming him through the floor. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But
Tom's getting smacked about right now.
So there's one thing, that's what I wanted to say earlier. There's one thing that I read on Twitter, don't know if it's true, take it with a grain of salt. Apparently, Willem Dafoe had one condition on returning. He said, I don't want a small cameo. I don't want like, oh, look, I'm talking. He wants, if he's back, he wants to be fully back. He wants action scenes because that's what he loved the most.
Yeah,
and it's true, because I did see an interview from him where he, I think it's Wired, where he talks about... But no, Wired is the is what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Where he talked about his career, and he did mention on the Spider-Man portion of his career that he did a lot of practical, like he did a lot of stunts himself, and that was one of the only times he's ever done it, and he loved it. So I think that backs up the thing that I read on Twitter, that he wants to return and do the action scenes.
Yeah. Because I mean, I remember, like, speaking on that whole part when he was like doing the actions. I remember a while ago there was a picture of his stunt double. There was a picture of a stunt double that was revealed, and I think his stunt double was mainly used in the building, like the first like one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are some practical bits. There was like, I don't know if a man who's nearly 70 could really nearly do those things,
exactly, like the wrestling moves and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
but
I think
a lot of the other stuff he did himself.
No, I think a lot. Yeah, like you say, a lot of the other stuff was him, and I'm so glad they made him like the trigger for everything, basically everything that's happening with the villains. He is the trigger.
He was the Goblin through and through.
I just okay. Getting to it now. He was my favorite villain throughout the entire film. He was so fucking good.
He was
It was. I just can't get over it. It was like, no words are being exchanged throughout the fights. He's just beating the crap out of Peter, throwing him around like a play toy, gets to the bottom floor, and oh my god, that bit where it's like Peter's on the ground, he steps on it, lifts his hair up like this. He's like, he just starts taunting Aunt May. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" and shit like that. And then, man, I just can't get enough of that fight scene. I want to watch it again, like just to see that fight scene again. Honestly. It was so good, unbelievably good.
It's just they've done Goblin solid. Like, yes, I wanted to see the villains, especially like the Green Goblin. I want to see them in their prime, if you will. Like, don't like, I don't know what I had in mind. I was pretty pessimistic. Like, they could screw it up in many ways, and oh boy, they didn't.
They did not.
They fully showed how they are. Like, it fits so well.
I think, honestly, because when you look back at the interview, like the villain panel that was shown
I did not
on the
see
internet.
any of those. I did not want to be spoiled.
In the villain panel, oh wait, you don't want to.
No. I did not want to be spoiled then. I mean, I saw the movie.
Oh right, okay, I see what you mean.
I saw the movie now. So I
was like, wait a minute. But basically, like in the villain panel, he said the Green Goblin is like, there's more to him in this one. It's like obviously it's the same character, but there's more to him in this one. I could see why. I honestly think this Goblin is better than the original Goblin.
Yeah, purely because of like, I agree, and that's just purely because he is already in his prime, if you will.
Yeah,
you gotta remember he is in his prime actually, because he got transported literally from the Spider-Man 1 movie before his death. He was ready. He was insane, and it showed basically what I do like. It showed that somehow, some way, he uses Norman's brilliance. The Goblin has access to that brilliance because he just manipulates and talks and.
I think because in the original, I was spoken in so much gibberish there, but in the first movie he was very campy. He was a very campy supervillain. In this one, you could literally see him being a proper supervillain, like very similar to the Joker, where he was literally fucking with Peter's mind so much of the time. I don't think it doesn't actually happen that much in
the first Spider-Man. He was still him. He was still amazing, but he was if you take into account this movie, it's almost seemed like in the first movie he was powered down.
I think someone said this to me, but basically in the first movie, his main motivation was to take down the people in his company, right?
True. He focused everything on the company, yeah.
And then after that, after he took out everyone in the company, what was there else? What was his other motivation? And it was just, I guess it was just to fight Spider-Man in the end. But in this one, he has an actual vengeance against Spider-Man. His motivation is literally just fuck with Spider-Man. Just absolutely destroy him mentally and physically.
Yeah.
That was his motivation. I think you really feel that in this one. There is an actual Jamie Foxx said it really well, because he was asked the question like, who's the scariest villain out of all of you, and he points to Green Goblin, because unlike Jamie Foxx's Electro, the world did him wrong, but with Green Goblin, it's like he is setting out on like a mission of vengeance, and just like when he's done something to him personally, you know. And I love that it was shown in this. Anyway, enough of me rambling. I spoke a lot there.
No, I think we can move on to what happened next in that exact same scene,
man.
And that's when I was happy. And made me sound sadistic, but I was
sadistic motherfucker.
I like mature movies. I like a serious tone. That's why I actually, for some reason, like I watched the Amazing Spider-Man movies, like the days before. They were very serious. They were even more serious than the original trilogy, and I really liked them. Like I like serious movies. That's why I prefer DC over Marvel. And it was at that moment in the movie when the Green Goblin has started his vengeance by killing Aunt May, blowing her up.
Oh man!
And I was at first, real quick. At first, I was pretty, like I saw her, you know, basically like being fine, and I was like. At first, I was like, "Oh, they killed her. Yes, okay, this is actually amazing for the story. This is the Uncle Ben death of the MCU Spider-Man." And then I saw her basically being fine at first. I was like, "No, please, MCU, you almost got me. You almost got me. Please, just go with it. Go with it. Show some balls. Do it."
Yeah.
And then when it happened, when she was like shaking, I was like, "They've done it.
They've done it. Yeah,
they've done it."
I noticed that as well. I saw her like. Probably like doing this and fucking like, it's like she could barely walk. And like,
and do you know the exact moment I knew she's gonna be a goner? She was still fine.
Yeah, I think I saw like handshake or her shake. It was like one of the shakes. I don't see it was one of those.
For me, it was a piece of dialogue that indicates yes, she is gonna die.
Oh, was it the with? Does it start with? Yeah,
with great power.
And you're like, nah.
No, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
I was like,
I'm not gonna be like.
Oh yeah.
Go on, you go on.
No, sorry, I was just really hyped about this. Now it's my time to go on a monologue. No, she did. I really like the idea of Aunt May being the Uncle Ben of the MCU, saying the line like they were going with responsibility the whole time. Like they put it in the dialogue the whole time. I did not pick up on it. And then they said the word power. Not even they didn't say the line yet. They said like with power, and I was like, wait, are they going where I think I'm going? And literally the next line, listen, with your power, with your great power, comes. Great responsibility or something like I don't know if they said great, but they at least said with power comes great responsibility. And I was like, bro, she finally heard it, because my thing was Spider-Man is shaped by Uncle Ben, Ben. But in the MCU, it was almost like he doesn't even care about Uncle Ben. He got shaped by Tony Stark, and I liked it at first, like it was different. But then when I was thinking about it and I was like rewatching the movies, I was like, actually, I don't think it's cool anymore. That basically everything's being shafted to him being Iron Man Jr. and Tony Stark is his great motivation. Tony Stark was his Uncle Ben. And I was like, they didn't even say the great power line.
Yeah, he did.
And now with Aunt May being the Uncle Ben, which is a super cool twist, a super cool spin on the story, because she was there for him the whole time, saying the line, which later would have been referenced a bit more, but she said the line, and it just made for such powerful story.
Oh, it was good. It was good. Tom Holland. We haven't even spoken much about Tom Holland, but like this entire time, Tom Holland has been doing a very good job. Like I've been very entertained about his acting, and even at that point, he is so good at crying. He is so good at looking emotional. He is so good at. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
He's
Look at
such
his
a
face.
phenomenal actor.
Look at this man. He's broken. Even happy when he turned up, it's just like, oh
He's
man,
like,
this is rough.
Go, run, go, and then going a little bit further. We're going back. Don't worry. Going a little bit further. Then he got shot in the shoulder as well, showing there is actual consequence. Like the police aren't just stupid, like waiting there with points, like guns, waiting like, oh, where do we shoot? No, they actually like opened fire. He got shot and he had to go. He had to go.
He had to go. It's just.
But going a little bit back in that same scene, it's the it's just. I can't like Tom Holland. He said in an interview before, I saw a segment. He said this movie is gonna mature Peter. He's going to college. He is gonna mature. And in the beginning of the movie, he was the original MCU. Bless you, by the way.
Give me a sec. Jesus.
Drink some water.
Yeah, wait a minute. Give me a sec. I don't want to ruin your monologue there, but.
Oh yeah, go.
Oh.
It's too powerful. The scene was too powerful. It's too powerful.
Oh man.
But no. In the beginning of the movie, he was the same old MCU Spider-Man, the same old Tom Holland kid, if you will, the teenager. And this was the turning point. The death of Aunt May was the turning point.
Yeah, I think before Aunt May's death, he wasn't fully understanding the role of responsibility that he had. Yeah. Like Tony died, but I don't think it really affected him too much. Yeah, he was like a father figure to him, but it wasn't his fault that Tony died, hence why there was no like responsibility thing. But Aunt May died because of him.
Because he was friends with with MJ, not Mary Jane, with I think Michelle Jones is her name, with MJ and with Ned. Mm-hmm. He's responsible for literally being around them, for them not being accepted. Like this movie really shows, yes, you're an adult now, you're responsible, you have responsibilities. Your power has responsibilities, and that was like a theme of the first, like the first arc of the movie.
Yeah, I think it's just there was so much about like he wasn't. Oh, actually, I'll get to that bit later on. I want to save that whole bit for the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the turning point for him. That was when the origin was complete. That was the origin being completed there. When I.
No, yeah. So I'm sorry for interrupting. No, but no, that's that's what I like about this approach, which I'm not sure if it was planned in the beginning. We basically, instead of having one origin movie, we had an origin 4 movies or 3 movies.
Yeah, in a way, 3.5.
3.5 is literally his origins, and that's what I think is cool. I'll probably have to add more. But I'll add it at the very end.
Yeah, I don't mind if you want to go for it now. I mean, we're still on the topic of it. But it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I'll wait.
Okay. So obviously, like the Green Goblin, he ruins everything. He was badass as hell walking onto that glider. His little strut that just jumps. I'm like, oh, that was smooth as hell. That was so fucking smooth. Hopping on that glider.
That's also why I think the Goblin was done justice. Like it was shown, this man is a threat. Like he killed your aunt because he is just that guy. You know.
He just wants to ruin you. You know. He just wants to ruin you. But obviously, we've just met the worst moment of the movie. Shit's hit the fan, you know. Things are getting awful for Tom Holland. We've hit a new low. So let's build that up again. Let's make ourselves... What else can we do? What can we do to bring up? Henceforth, we go to Ned's house.
And at this point, I want to say something.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of water, and my bladder was killing me. I was like, I don't know how long this freaking movie has lasting, but I'm sorry if it's this a little bit too graphic for everyone, but my bladder literally hurt. I was like, okay, I was like, I was like, I have to go. I put down my snacks. I was like running, just bolting it out of the theater
Oh my
to the
god.
bathroom, and I'm literally gonna be graphic because I don't care. This is how I talk to
Yeah,
my
yeah,
friends.
yeah, yeah, go on, go on, go on.
My pee lasted so long because it was
Oh
literally,
no!
I had to go so bad. Like it hurt at that point. I had to just let it all out, and it took a while. I actually
Oh
had
no!
to stop. I was like, okay, this is enough. I hit a checkpoint, if you will. I'm gonna stop now.
Oh
I'm gonna stop.
no!
This is enough for me to last to the end of the movie. I'm gonna stop now. I still have to go, but I'm gonna stop. Gonna wash my hands because I know I like to be hygienic. I sprint like I'm pretty fast, thankfully. I
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
am a brown small kid sprinting across the theater, going back in, and do you know what I saw, Turtle?
What
I
did you see?
saw Andrew Garfield
Oh
in the
my
living room of
gosh!
Nat's house,
Oh my
but
god!
but he just got out of the portal.
Oh my
So I
gosh!
didn't miss too much, but I did miss the
Ah,
whole setup because I had to go
oh
so bad. So
man, the
please,
setup was so good.
please tell
Oh,
me in detail what happened because I missed
okay,
it.
okay. So basically, the news has just spread that what just happened at the tower. You know, people have been injured, and not MJ, Aunt May had just been killed, and they're like, oh my god, Tom, like Peter's going through a lot right now. We need to be with him right now. Like we really need to be with him. And Ned is just sitting there, just like, ah, I wish we could see Peter Parker. And then a portal like speck appears like a second, and then MJ's like, do that again. It's like, I wish we could see Peter Parker. It gets a little bit bigger, and he's just like, I wish we could see Peter Parker. And then it opens, and it shows an alleyway with a dark figure at the end of it. And then they go, is that Peter? And they start saying his name, Peter, Peter, quick, come over here, Peter. And then the guy's looking like this, and he starts running, and then he just hops through the portal. And everyone in my fucking theater was like, woo! And that was the bit. That was the moment. Okay, I was like, holy fuck, holy shit. And then obviously he goes,
Wait, he took off his mask?
yeah, he goes,
Oh,
like
that
that.
was dang! I didn't know he had his mask on. No, I
Yeah,
so
he
want
had
to
his
see
mask on.
that.
Yeah, he had his mask on the entire time. You couldn't see who it was because he had his mask on. You could see his like the white bit in his eyes. And he was running. He hops through the portal with his mask on. We're all just like, "Oh my god, wow!" And wow! And he goes, "No way, doing. I'm not any harm." And then everyone goes, everyone just goes mad in theaters. And that was the first time I was literally like, let's go, let's go. Because I never usually scream. If I were to scream, everyone else has to scream. So when everyone else was screaming, going crazy, that's when I took the opportunity to go mental. My friends were just like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I'm like, go fuck yourself. I love Spider-Man. And then obviously, you know what happens next. But like, when he comes to the pool, that moment, I was like, bro, they just put fucking Andrew Garfield in the fucking movie. Andrew fucking Garfield is in the movie. Obviously his movies weren't favored by a lot of people, but people still fucking respected him. Everyone loves him because he was a really good Spider-Man.
And for me, because I so recently watched it for the first time,
Yeah.
it also, like, I'm really happy I watched those Amazing Spider-Man movies because otherwise this movie would not hit as hard as it did now.
I am so glad you did that. You were getting a bit tight for when you were watching it, but
And
like
watched this, yeah.
and you watched it like the day before. I was like, oh my god, thank God he watched Amazing Spider-Man 2. Jesus. My goodness.
But yeah, it
But
felt so rewarding.
I think in the first like 30 seconds of Andrew being there is like his character was already justified. Like it was done justice. Just for 30 seconds of him being there. He was charismatic, he was awkward as all hell.
To be
He was being
fair,
smart.
like, I didn't see much difference from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like, I in my opinion, he was done justice in the Amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man movies.
he was done. I mean, he was a really good actor. Let's be honest here. He was a really good actor. Maybe it's because I just haven't seen him in a while. I didn't really watch all of the one with you. I like left halfway. But even then, it was like he was still doing decent. It was just that more the dialogue, I think, was just not the writing wasn't particularly amazing. But you could just see in that scene when he hops through the portal, it's just like he's back. But like, you take it
Incredible.
away. You take it away. Like,
Yeah, no,
um,
for like a casual fan's perspective, and like a like I'm a casual Marvel fan, but I am actually like I'm a real huge fan of Spider-Man. I am not as big into him as I have not seen any animated shows or comics. I
mhm,
am just a very huge Tobey Maguire era Spider-Man
mm,
fan who
that
Spider-Man is in my top 3 all-time super like my all-time favorite heroes. Easily, easily. He's my top 2. Like he's my second
mm,
place. My first place is Batman. Third place is Flash. But
mhm,
Spider-Man, I've never really considered him Marvel. I'm not gonna lie. I've never really considered him Marvel. He's of course the movies I watched, which was the Tobey Maguire movies, were Sony property, and in this scene where I'm just gonna jump ahead a little bit, but in this scene it was mentioned the Avengers and stuff don't exist in the Sony universes, which I was really actually sort of happy about because I was like, yes, they're
mm.
they're their own thing. But no, yeah. So as like a big Spider-Man fan, it was so cool to see just Andrew Garfield, who I liked, and I'm really happy because I also liked the villain, the right. I like not Rhino. I'm sorry, but I did get the references about him fighting Rhino, finding a
Yeah.
tad bit boring because And it's a little bit ahead. I'm gonna stop that for now. But no, just the villains like Electro and stuff. Like I understood their motivation. I knew who they were. I knew the references that Andrew made, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah. There were a
so
lot of
cool.
references. If you hadn't seen the other 4 movies beforehand, I think you would have found it very tough to understand a lot of what they were talking about, because
For
a
sure.
majority of what they were saying was just references,
Yeah.
you know, callbacks and stuff like that.
But no,
Um,
yeah. So I don't know if you have anything more to touch on, Andrew, for on this
I was
part.
I was gonna say one thing and I've kind of forgotten. I do like how like MJ was just like, "Are you the real Spider-Man? Prove it to us. Walk
Yeah.
along that wall." And I'm just like, "Please, just do it, Andrew. Please, just walk along that wall, man. Just do it for us. Please, do it for your boys." And then he did it, and I was like, "Let's go."
That
And
that
I think, actually, I remember what I was gonna say now. When you were talking about like you as a casual fan, obviously you had just seen it recently. Think about for us who haven't seen Andrew or Toby since they first appeared on screen since 2009,
on Toby I can
or
relate. On Toby I can relate.
yeah,
But
Toby,
Andrew,
you can relate.
yeah, Andrew,
Andrew,
yeah.
like since like two I think early 2010s, you know,
No,
he has been
the
around. And
Amazing
was it
Spider-Man came out in 2014. I don't know when the second one
24?
came out.
Still, that's quite a long time ago,
Is the
you
second?
know.
Yeah, it's long. I'm not sure if the second came out in 2014. Let me just quickly
Yeah.
check. Well, you continue. You continue. I think we're
But
both
yeah, it's
looking it
like
up.
when you we're both like typing
Okay, no, yeah. So
that.
the Amazing Spider-Man is
Yeah,
2012. The second one is
2012.
2014.
Yeah, it's like when you haven't seen those characters on screen for such a long time, it's like as those characters is like being there in that moment. It's like this is a monumental occasion. You
Yeah.
know, this is crazy. Like I think I actually saw. Actually, let's go to actually before we go into that next, but let's talk about the next reveal. You know, let's talk about the next reveal. Um,
So wait, before we do that, I have to talk about the grandma. I thought she was really funny.
yeah, go on, talk
No,
about.
dude, that's it. That's it. It's just a small remark. Like the granny was hilarious. I
Uh,
love her.
oh, honestly, I loved her so much. She was so funny. Such a
Yeah.
funny grandma. She was an MVP of that scene.
But no, yeah.
uh,
So yeah, then they were like, okay, no, we need the real Spider-Man. The real
uh,
Spider-Man.
as soon as they said keep going until you find Peter Parker, I was like, they are not gonna do what I think they're gonna do. And then he fails 2 times. He does it the third time. It opens behind him. And the music. Oh, the music was so good.
It was
The music was
amazing.
so somber, it was so calm. You just see this man. It was as if it was some sort of royal ceremony for a soldier returning home or whatever, you know?
Yeah,
It's just
you had to
like
turn around. But
yeah.
one thing that did come in my mind, I have not seen Into the Spider-Verse. I will. I've seen certain scenes with
Mm,
how he looked. He looked casual. He looked pretty, untidy, as Peter is normally.
yeah.
Um, I thought at first, no, are they gonna make Toby the Spider-Man who has lost everything? The Spider-Man who is depressed? The Spider-Man who's retired? because that's the first thing that popped in my
Yeah.
mind
Okay.
on
Okay.
how he saw. And then Mr. Tobey Maguire stepped out of the portal. They did their things, and he saw Andrew in his spider suit, and they both on instinct webbed each other. And then I was that doubt, that idea of, oh no, is this the retired depressed one, flew right out of my mind, and I was happy. I was like, yes, come on.
Yeah.
So you know why I was pretty scarred for that? Luke
Why?
Skywalker.
Oh, I see. What in the Mandalorian?
No,
Oh,
Last Jedi.
sorry, the last.
So
In
that's
the last.
why I was like, I don't want to
Yeah.
see another of my childhood favorite heroes
Uh.
turn grumpy, depressed, and I was like, come on, these are like Luke and Peter are both symbols of hope. Like
Yeah.
they fail so much, they get so much sadness on them, but they overcome it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, come on, I just don't want to see another Luke Skywalker being all down, and they didn't.
Oh
Another
man.
twist in my mind, another twist done right.
Oh man, it was so surreal. It was very surreal seeing Tobey Maguire stepping through that portal and just like looking around. I'm just like, that's Tobey. That's Tobey.
And he still kind of looks the same.
He looks like, I think obviously like he's gone a bit older. He's in his 50s now, but it's like, no, he's in his 40s, I think, late 40s.
Yeah, yeah, because he was 20-ish in 2001 or 3. 2002 was when the first movie came out, 2002. 20 years later, so 40-ish. Yep.
Yeah.
Mid-40s.
It was just weird. And the nostalgia kind of instantly came back when he started looking at Andrew. And they looked back at each other, and he does that like wide-eyed thing. I'm like, I know that look. I've seen that before.
Look. That's the
That's the. And I don't know if you noticed, but when they did that thing, it was the exact same sound effect for Tobey's web shooting. The web shooting sound effect was the exact same.
That's something I did not notice. I did not pick up.
I mean, I'm a fucking nerd at this, but like, it was literally the exact same sound. It was the exact same sound that was made.
Have you noticed the pose he did? He did it how Tobey has a certain way how he whips. He puts his right shoulder back, goes to a little bit of a crouch, and does this. No, he did it back. He did not do front. He did back.
It does like really quick.
Yeah, like
quick draw.
Yeah, and then I don't remember how Andrew did it because it was really fast. But I think they also did Andrew's signature thing.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed Tobey's. It was the shoulder back.
Yeah, I'm really glad as well that kind of Tobey kind of, over what was the word, outwebbed Andrew. I think yes. Out of all of them, I think he should, because he's going to be the most experienced out of all of them.
Tobey is definitely the most experienced, and I would say out of the bunch, purely because of his experience and stuff, he is, I think, the better Spider-Man.
Oh, he's way stronger. I think there's a video on the internet like why Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the strongest Spider-Man.
I need to see that.
I can't remember what like it's just I'm literally can't even speak right now. But I haven't watched it myself. I need to watch it. But he is like described to be the strongest, so I will watch that after this because I need to procrastinate from my actual studies. But it was just I couldn't fathom that scene. I still do like throughout the day. Okay, throughout the day, I just look at reactions to that scene alone. Do like audience reactions to that scene. In every single one of them, people are just going mad. People are going. I think there was one reaction in particular when the guy was bawling with tears. He was proper bawling with actual tears from both Andrew and Tobey appearing. Oh, it was just what a scene that was. It was what we needed from what happened before with Aunt May. It was what we needed. Oh man,
exactly. And they both heavily experienced loss, so you know what the setup was.
Oh, the next scene was so good. Like, where would he be? Where is the most like his important place? Because they all have the important. I love the back and forth between Andrew and Tobey. It was like, my place is this building, and then Andrew goes, mine is the Empire State Building, and
And I was like, yeah, it's a nice
Toby
view
goes,
up
oh,
there.
yeah, that's a really good view.
Nice
I was
view
like,
up there.
this is what I need. This is what I need. Back and forth, going between each other.
Yeah, they added throughout the movie. They gave time for the characters to breathe. They gave time for the characters to interact with each other, and that's what the fans needed.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just like I am so happy with how much screen time they got in the movie.
I was.
It was.
No, because you listened to the Omega podcast I did with him. You told me, and I don't know if you remember. I told Omega I was as a Tobey Maguire diehard fanboy. I was like, all I care about is Tobey. This was before I watched Andrew, because now I also care about Andrew, and I care about Tom Holland after this movie. But I was like, for me, give me literally a lot of screen time for Tobey. Otherwise, I'll be disappointed. He had Tobey and Andrew, in my opinion, had literally close to the perfect amount of screen time. Not too much, not too less.
Not too little. It was so good. And it was enough screen time to still be able to focus on, in the main Spider-Man, Tom Holland, And I was like, it was such a good amount of time as well. It was so good. It was like, it was built up and then paid off with them arriving through the portal. It was the perfect reintroduction for them. It was the perfect reintroduction. I loved it so much. I just couldn't. I want to go back to. I booked my tickets again with my family to see it. And my dad, like he originally, he kind of introduced me to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I mean, he's a huge action person. He doesn't really like too much like talking, this, that, and the other. But I think if he goes to watch this movie, he's gonna like it. He's gonna like it.
Especially
he generally thinks that the first and the second Spider-Man movie are like one of the best movies of all time.
They are.
So I think
amazing.
he is gonna like this. I think he's gonna like this. So I'm
Especially
very excited
because
to see it again.
Out of all the villains, I'm really happy as well that the Tobey villains got the most spotlight.
Oh, I think other than the main two, that Electro got a lot of it as well.
Electro got it, yeah. I'm actually really happy about that as well.
He got a lot. Because he was a villain that was done dirty, I would say, a little bit in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I don't understand, nor do I know this character before the movie, and I don't know his actual background and everything. So for me, I actually had no issues with him. But the thing is, that's because I don't have any prior knowledge. You
don't have any prior knowledge. It's like, I think there's years of built-up knowledge from multiple different people talking about Amazing Spider-Man. So like you can see the qualms with the movie. I'm sure you'll probably watch future Amazing Spider-Man 2 videos and you'll start realizing, oh wait a minute, no. But yeah, no. Moving on, unless you want to say anything else.
No, let's go to the roof.
Oh, the roof. Oh, that bit, man. That bit hit. That bit hit. I loved it when. Go on, you go. Sorry, you go on.
No, I'm not saying anything.
I thought that you got to like say something there.
No.
But I loved when like they're hugging for a bit. They're crying, and like I really feel the emotion from Tom Spider-Man. That was really well done. Even Ned, I thought he was fake crying, but then you see a tear, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's actually crying there. Well done, actually, good job. But then he's like, then she goes, some people are here to see you, and I'm like, turn around, they're poached on the tower, and I'm like,
they're like slowly walking. I'm pretty sure if I remember, they're slowly walking as spiders.
They're there, they're hanging up, then they just start jumping down. Oh, the dialogue there was so good. It was so fucking good.
Tobey saying, I mean, basically the Spider-Man saying, "We know what you're going through," and then Tom saying, you don't know. You will never understand. You don't know.
You would never what I'm going through."
They both got the time to tell about their losses. How Tobey lost Uncle Ben. How Andrew lost like Gwen, his Uncle Ben. Gwen, his Uncle Ben as well. It was.
I think that bit will especially hit for you, like the Andrew bit, because that's gonna be so recent in your mind.
It was.
The emotion will still be there. So probably seeing Andrew just like, what's the word? Choking his words, trying to talk about Gwen is like, holy shit, that hits.
Yeah.
That hits really hard when he's talking about there. And then I think my favorite part, obviously when Andrew was talking, was up there as one of my favorite bits throughout that scene. But But my favorite bit was when like Tom's like, I still remember her voice in my head. I can still hear her, what she's saying to me. You know, the last thing they said to me was, with great power, and then the camera
Goes to
pans on Tobey, and he goes, comes great responsibility. I'm like, yes, he said it! He said it! Oh
and
my gosh.
It's better than fan service because it fits the scene so perfectly.
It's so good.
It doesn't feel as fan service. It feels like I understand it. I experienced the same thing. I was told the same thing. It's like one of the constants in the multiverse.
It was such a goosebump moment when he says because in every one of the original movies, he says those words.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire says with great power comes great responsibility. He says it, and just hearing him say it again in No Way Home is like, oh my God. 17 years it's been or so since he said that. That's mad. That's insane. And then Andrew's like, yep, he said that to me too. And I'm like, you're not alone, Tom.
Exactly. It's like how Tom's like, how do you know? It's like, that's what Uncle Ben told me. And then he said, told us, I'm pretty sure. And Andrew said, yeah, also told me.
Before he died.
But then with Andrew, I was in my mind like, well, he meant it, but I didn't really say it. But,
he didn't really say it, but he meant it.
It still didn't take away anything. It's just the nitpicky mind, the nitpicky mind that I have. But
yeah, I think it makes sense for why they panned in on Toby.
Because Toby it happened there. It was his thing, if you will.
Literally goosebumps. Because I think I saw that scene again on YT earlier on today, just sitting in my car before work started. All I see is the camera panning on.
I have to. I want to rewatch most of the scenes tonight.
It's so good. They're all like them recording the cinema screen, but it's just like it still hits. It still hits. It's in the emotion.
You only need the audio. We have the movie in our brain.
Oh man, it's so annoying because we've only seen it once. I want to see it again. I want to see it again.
You will see it again. I'm going to see it
on 20. I'm seeing it in 10 days from now, which is still like a far away time.
Yeah, I have to wait until it hits the streaming services.
Oh, that sucks. that sucks. Oh my god.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to go back to the theater. I'm not a guy who goes to the theater more than once.
I'm only going to the theater again because most of my family want to see it. And I'm like, sure, I'll go and see it. Yeah. I've not seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. But then they have the whole talk still. They just keep talking the roof. Like, how do you know that?
I'm pretty sure Toby has also mentioned Uncle Ben a few more times, and to see how important Uncle Ben was for Toby. For him. I don't remember really what he said about Uncle Ben besides the great power, great responsibility thing, but he did say a few more that I just.
Sorry, I know what you're talking about. It's like Tom said that she died for nothing, and then Toby goes like she didn't die for nothing, because obviously then he realizes that like, oh, these great Spider-Man are standing in front of me.
Yeah,
they've had the same talk, and look at them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's like she didn't die for nothing. Like she didn't die for nothing. Just look at us.
Incredible.
That was such a good scene.
Yeah.
And then they go to the lab, and I love. I'm saying this a lot so much. Like the key word of today's video is I love. I love that moment. I love that. Is everything is just. I'm saying that so much of it, but I can't find a single scene where I didn't like it. Like every scene was I love that scene. I love that scene when they were in the lab starting to cook up medicines.
In the lab, like they're all three Peter Parkers who are absolutely brilliant, and you can see them. And like Andrew had the easiest thing because he in his movies has already created an antitoxin for Lizard.
Yeah.
So he literally said it again, like I've already done it, so this will be easy for me.
Yeah, so there's so many things to talk about in this scene.
I want to talk. I don't know I don't think it happened in chronological thing, but I just want to talk about the web shooters, man. The web shooters.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. That was in the web scene. That was in that science scene, wasn't it? So
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he goes like, okay, so what about the web stuff, guys? And they all look at Toby, just goes, does that, and they all just like
web. It's like, what are those things? Like my web shooters. And like,
oh yeah. And he doesn't even say anything. He says web shooters. He just goes.
No, he did say something. He was like, wait, what? It was like, what do you mean web shooters? Like, I don't have it. Like, what do you mean? And then he did it.
And then he does it. Yeah, then he does it.
And
And I
then
loved Andrew's reaction. He's like, "What the hell?
they're
You
the
shut
best.
those out of your wrist?"
I
Go
know
on.
in the community, the fan community, there's a whole discussion about basically Toby being the only one having in his hands, and some people find it disgusting. I love how that's basically reflected and replicated by the two Spider-Man who both have web shooters.
Oh, it was so good. All the web shooting jokes were brilliant in this.
Yeah.
They were all just teasing him about it. It was
I was
brilliant.
like,
It was.
huh? Does it only come out of your hand, or is other body parts?
Oh yeah, other places. Oh, I loved like Andrew's reaction to it all because he was proper just like staring down Toby for ages in the science. And just like, how does that work? How does that work?
What else?
I think one scene I really liked in this was it was actually to do with Ned. It's one of my favorite Ned scenes. Was when he goes up to I think it's like a callback to Homecoming when he goes up to Tom Spider-Man for the first time and it rolls up to him in his like wheelie chair. Just goes,
yeah.
do you remember that? Yeah, he like rolls up to him and goes, so where does the web come from? You know, he starts asking questions. He rolls up to Toby and just goes, so do you have a best friend in your universe? I love that so much. I'm sitting here like, about that.
So yeah, oh yeah, you know, he died before he tried to kill me and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think then Ned told I think that was my favorite scene of his. He told Tom like, "Don't worry, I will not betray you and kill you," or something along those lines.
I will not try to kill you. And then Tom's just kind of like,
yeah, I was like, what? And that's what I meant earlier in the video when you mentioned the Hawk Goblin thing or whatever. I think there might be a double layer. Maybe I'm thinking too deep, but maybe a double layer and like, those rumors are BS. I am not gonna turn evil and kill you.
Yeah. I don't think he will turn into Hawk Goblin. I mean, by the end of the movie, like, well, why would he? You know, what's the point?
To be fair, like, I know it's out of a movie. I'll probably go into depth later, but I hope he actually doesn't. I like Ned and stuff, but I hope he either gets a different role, if you will, or if he just simply
he just doesn't turn up anymore. That's him.
Well, turning up is fine, but not being his tech, Peter's tech guy. I really like that. But that's for later in the movie. Okay, in that scene, the science scene. Isn't
so
also
obviously.
Well, yeah, go.
I was just to say I like how like Tom has no idea what he's talking about, but like Toby and Andrew are like, yes. You please don't betray him because they know what happens.
Yeah, and then Andrew was like putting a hand on that. It's like good man.
Because both their best friends have tried to kill them and they have both died or
both
like,
are Harry. Both are also Harry.
Both are. So it's just like, yeah, good man. Don't do that. And Tom's just like, what? I think it was a missed opportunity there in that scene. I don't know if it would have been forced or not. I'm sure everyone else would have thought the same. But like in that scene, I was really hoping like while they're doing their science work, you know, someone's like, I'm really hungry. And then Toby comes in, goes, pizza time.
Honestly, I really like that will be blatantly fan service and I would not care. Like I don't even care, but like I don't know why fan service is seen as a bad thing.
Yeah, like, I mean, if it's overdone,
I agree. Overdone, I agree. But pizza time is just a perfect moment.
I think that bit would have been perfect for a pizza time, or not even like said the word pizza time. At least it just comes to the door and goes, and he wants some pizza. You know, that would have been fine. Like
maybe let Toby, because he's older, let him finish his part first, and then maybe have like Ned mention, "I'm kind of hungry," and have Toby like, "I'll be right back." He swings out of the window, and you don't see him. You don't see him for a little while because he's probably getting the pizzas then. And then, you know, they're talking. Maybe the focus will be put on Andrew. Maybe Ned will ask Andrew a question. And then maybe at like whenever it's time for them all to go, the door, like they're in mid-conversation, the door opens or whatever, and like an awkward timing thing. And then he drops the pizza. It's like, pizza time. Like,
pizza time.
That would have been...
I think another one, or maybe like a slap in the face for the fans would have been like, you know, Ned's just getting hungry or something, or someone is getting hungry. Not because, you know, Ned's a big guy or anything. But like,
I think it's more his thing to say something like that.
Yeah. But like, you know, someone would ask for a pizza, and then they offer it to Toby. Toby goes, no, I really don't want a pizza. Because he worked at a pizza place. It was a shit working place, but he'd probably just be like, nah, I really don't want a pizza, thank you. I don't like pizzas. I'd be like, nah, that's smart. That's smart. That's smart.
another missed opportunity in the movie. Tobey Spider-Man has not seen or interacted with JJJ, with
Oh,
James Jonah,
that would have been funny.
because
Oh, that would have been good.
it is his Jonah. Like, it's also the MCU Jonah, but
Yeah.
it's the same person as
Yeah.
Tobey's.
That would have been hilarious if they had ever interacted. Oh, that's a missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity. I'm pretty sure they had plans, but the movie will probably be too long, which I really find a BS reason. Like, I do not care if this movie would have been 4 hours.
Oh man, I really hope there's like a deleted scenes or something somewhere where it's just like
where we can just
they
see
interact with JJ, whatever his name is, Jane Jonah Jameson. That is a missed opportunity, actually. Jesus.
It is, yeah.
What happens after that? Do they just go straight to the Empire State Building to get their attention, don't they?
Yep, right? Because they was like, we need to grab their attention, and they grab the box, and they go. And then they have a heart-to-heart conversation where they're just talking. Like, they're just talking like brothers.
The start of it, I loved it. The very start of it, they literally
it's the web thing again, right?
Oh no, they whipped out the a Tobey reference. He's leaning over the bar, and then Andrew's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, nah."
Yeah, the back.
It's my back, and everyone's like,
back. I had a huge smile when that happened.
Oh, I was loving that.
My back.
It's just my back from all the swinging. He's like, "Oh, I know the feeling. Let me help you." And then it was just an awkward moment, no music. They're just like Andrew's lifting him up. It's like, what's going on here?
It's moments like that. That's what I meant with like the characters can breathe. You know, they're not stuck to the plot for, they can just be themselves for a bit, like talk like brothers, and I really appreciate that they have that scene in.
Oh, I think I loved how they're all awkward with each other. They're all awkward, but they know what they're talking about because they're all Peter Parker.
They're themselves, yeah.
But yeah, the heart-to-heart scene, they talk about the web shooters. They start teasing Tobey a bit for it. Which you imagine, did that come from your ribs or anywhere else? And then Andrew's like, "Do you have any web blocks?" And that was a straight up callback to movie 2.
And then I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I picked up on that." And then Tobey actually went in. He went deep in it. He was like, "No, yeah, emotional. What was it? Emotional
existential crisis." And he
he
points to his head, and he's like,
"That's how I got a deep block." And that's cool.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, "Oh my god, they actually did a callback to like, his web being blocked, his powers disappearing. That's madness."
And what else? What else did they talk about?
They talk about villains that they face. So like the villain, Tom's like, "Oh, what's the craziest villains you guys have ever faced?" And Andrew.
Yeah, that's one of the references I did not get. I was like, "Oh, okay," because the thing is, I am used to this formula, which is the superhero genre. I know in DC they make these exact references about I fought like a what was it like? I fought like something. No, I fought a star. I fought an actual star, which is Starro from DC. Someone said that they fought in Star. I think it was the old Flash. I don't know if you know Flash, but like Jay Garrick. I think Jay Garrick said I fought like a huge star, which is like an actual villain in the comics. And that exact way of referencing has been used by Tobey. Do you know which villain he means?
Yes.
Who is it?
Venom. He's talking about Venom from Spider-Man 3. I fought an alien made out of black goo. Come on, Codic.
I thought... Yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know. I thought they would do like... Because Tobey is older, I thought they would have included someone from the comics to... to basically tell, Tobey has been at it for a little while. And I don't know why... Probably because I was thinking in the DC way. I just totally forgot about Venom. Is that like, what did they say? Like the weirdest villain or favorite? Or
what's the craziest villain you've gone
against?
Is
Venom really the craziest villain?
I think it's more to connect with the audience in their current knowledge.
Yeah, I do get that.
Because the last villain that we saw him face was alien with black goo. But obviously I'm sure he could have very easily said like, "Oh, I've gone against something else.
Like something from the comics is what I thought. That would have been perfect for it, because that basically tells the Spider-Man fans, the actual more like a higher than me, like people like you, for example, like the die-hard Spider-Man fans.
Yeah.
It gives a perfect opportunity to have a little reference in, but also show that Tobey's Spider-Man is continuing. He hasn't retired. He's still going at it, which they've basically confirmed. He's still going at it. They're all going at it still. But no, I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably what they're doing, and it's probably like for the comic fans a thing. But this also means that in Tobey's universe, not really though, but it basically implies it, that there's no crazier villain than Venom in the last 20 years of Spider-Man's life.
Yeah, maybe he's probably settled down a bit more with MJ.
I don't think he has, because it's complicated.
It's complicated. I'm sure, yeah. I was 100% expecting to say, oh yeah, me and MJ are still together. And I was about to say I was complicated because I have a kid now. I was honestly expecting to say I have a kid now.
I thought he was going to say that they broke up. This is the Luke Skywalker syndrome in me.
Yeah. No, it's like they're still together. I was honestly, because I like his age, I was honestly thinking, oh no, I have a kid now. She's 3 years old. I was like, oh wow. I was fully expecting that, but never mind. They didn't say that, because then that would have mean in comic book wise, because when when a Spider-Man has a baby with MJ, like their child basically becomes the next Spider-Man, becomes Spider-Woman in the future when she grows up. So like, but anywho, going back.
Wait, yeah.
Okay, no, you go.
Now I want to take a small, tiny peek into the future because of what we're saying about this. I just like, I don't know why I thought of this, probably because of like the future Spider-Man. I just like how Electro told Andrew, because you're a guy saving like the poor in Harlem and stuff. Like I actually expect you to be black, but you're a kid. You're a small kid. You're young. Yeah. And he's like, somewhere out here there must be a black Spider-Man. I was like, Miles, my boy Miles.
Oh man, that did make me very happy.
Wait, that's a small bit in the future, but yeah, what did you want to say?
I was gonna say, going back a little bit to like the science scene. I like how we're gonna go to the Empire State Building to fight these guys, and they all look to him. It's like, are you not gonna go into your suit?
Wait, they're not going to the Empire State Building, by the way. They're going to the Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty. That's what I meant to say. They're going to the Statue of Liberty, and they look at Tobey and goes, "Where's your suit? You're not gonna go in casual clothes." And he just does that.
I was like, they do the classic Tobey Maguire Spider-Man where it's under his suit.
Yeah.
One small appreciation I also have to say. We know that the MCU do the Spider-Man suits CGI, but I mean, in some scenes, like especially the fighting scenes, they're mostly CGI. But because Tom Holland has barely worn a Spider-Man suit, I've heard, in the last 2 movies or last 3 movies. He's basically not really worn a suit because it all looks CGI anyway. So, but
I think I know where you're taking this. But anyway, go on.
So Tobey's suit and Andrew's suit. I'm not sure about Tom in this one, but their suits were real. They had them on. It's a small thing, like I said, but I really appreciate them not CGing him, because they could have they've done the suit as thing as well, and it just looks, because it's real, like practical. With the guy who plays Happy, which of course is Jon Favreau. He's the creator of the Mandalorian and stuff. Don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Happy is the basically the mastermind behind the Mandalorian. He's the guy in charge, and him with Dave Filoni, which is of course the apprentice of George Lucas, they are huge Star Wars fans. So Jon Favreau, wait, why did I say him? Why did I include him?
Something to do with costumes.
Oh yeah, no. So I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau has input in the behind the scenes, because you gotta remember the MCU started with Jon Favreau. Happy, the guy, he was the director of the first Iron Man movie, the very first. He is basically the guy who created the MCU. He started it all. So this man, with his knowledge on, I now know where I want to go with Jon Favreau. But no, Jon Favreau with his knowledge probably has said, "Hey, listen, we need to do this and this." But no, Jon Favreau, with his work on the Mandalorian, he knows the power of practical stuff. so on Star Wars, a lot. I have to talk about Star Wars a little bit because it relates to the MCU. Don't worry about this. It relates to Spider-Man. But no,
We'll get there.
no, but Jon Favreau has from the Star Wars side of things, because that's how they do now. Star Wars fans were complaining that the prequels were too CGI. Just like how Marvel fans, not all of them, but a few Marvel fans are complaining that the Marvel movies are too CGI, way too CGI, like over CGI'd. So Jon Favreau working on Star Wars and The Mandalorian, working in the volume. If you don't know what it is, I'm not going to explain. But working in the volume and stuff, using practical and CGI mixed, he knows the power of basically using practical props, which has been used in the 80s by George Lucas, which is sells so much. And I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau had input in the decision of having the original Spider-Man wear the practical suits in person, because it just adds, like, on the, subconsciously it adds to the realism. It adds to connecting that to the old movies, because the old movies were practical as well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure if their suits were CGI'd over them, something in the mind unconsciously would say something is not right. This doesn't feel correct.
Yeah, especially with like Tobey's outfit, mainly because the silver parts in his suit are like, they come out. They're not.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, basically they have a 3D form on them.
Yeah.
And I think just that a little extra touch to them that's actually being real is like, it's good. It was very nice to see.
Yeah.
But it was weird seeing Tobey's like Spider-Man outfit in CGI. It was really weird because a lot of the time it was like real.
Practical. Yeah.
It was very practical in the original movies, and every so often when he's like fighting or swinging, it'll be CGI. It was weird seeing it like, as in there. It was just weird.
For me, it wasn't actually, because they made it look.
I was not like weird, not weird as in like I didn't like it weird, but it was surreal.
Surreal. Oh, okay, I got you.
Surreal is the word I was looking for. More like, okay, it's surreal seeing Sam Raimi's suit in this. You know, it was surreal, and that's what I was looking for. Not weird, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we have to, before we keep going, because we want to keep going, I think we have to go back to the plot a bit and basically have to acknowledge, yes, the talking is over. I think we've done the talking as well. The first person arrives, and that's Electro.
First person arrived, Electro. How would you like the new? It was good. I enjoyed that. And then Lizard comes out of the water. Sandman flies there, I think.
Yeah, he flies in. Doc Ock is later, and Goblin's later.
Then Goblin. But I loved how, at begin with, they were all really crap at working together.
That's
making the wire where Spider-Man hits his head off that. I don't know if that was a callback to like Harry Osborn being knocked over the head.
Maybe. And also, I think Tobey, while he was it Tobey was falling? No, it was Andrew who was falling. By Tom's web, and Andrew, because of that, missed his thing, which messed up with Tobey. In the air, they like it all, like, but it makes sense. They've never, except for Tom, they've never worked in a team. They are all solo heroes, which of course, after like them kicking ass and getting their ass kicked by the villains, them having the quick meeting, that was cool.
That was weird. That bit was like, woo! When they like just, I'm part of the Avengers, and he goes, wow, that's great. What is that?
It's like, it's like, because he was like, I know how to work with a team. I don't want to brag, but the Avengers. Yeah, that was sick. But no, that's how basically Tom, and that's, I think, really cool for the story, how Tom, being the youngest of the bunch, having a little bit more experience in teamwork, took the lead here. I have one thing that just annoyed me though, which in story-wise, no problem, absolutely no problem. It's just me knowing, not in the story, it's filmmaking, where I just thought, dang it, that's missed. How they called each other, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, did not add up to their releases. Like, in my brain, because Spider-Man 1 was Tom Holland, Spider-Man 2 was Andrew, Spider-Man 3 was Tobey. In my opinion, it should have been Spider-Man 1 is Tobey, Spider-Man 2 is Andrew. Spider-Man 3 is Tom.
Yeah.
It's just a small thing that I just thought
small
like,
things.
dang it, man.
Yeah.
That would make so much more sense to reference which movie came first.
Oh yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, nah, that would have been cool actually. I didn't really notice it too much. I was too busy like, oh my god, all three Spider-Man are huddling together. And then they are. Oh man, we got to talk about the swing sequence. We got to talk about that. The music swelling up, and them going. Their screams. You know, they all did that. They all had their woohoos. They all did their own woohoos. Hearing Andrew and Tobey's woohoos again.
And then, did you see that? Did you see that YouTube video where they added the trailer? You know, where there's only just Tom's Spider-Man in the trailer. Where they added the trailer to add Tobey's and Andrew's. It was a fan-made trailer, and they animated them themselves. I saw the behind the scenes. The guy animated themselves. Animated the Andrew and Tobey Spider-Man to be in the trailer. I'll show you after the podcast. But they've added in. There's one scene in that trailer that's where it was in this scene we were talking about. Tom landed in the middle. And then,
I know what you're talking about. Mighty Raccoon. Was it him?
That yeah.
It might have been, yeah.
So
I saw that a lot. It was great.
And then it happened in the theater when it was exactly like, I don't know if it was exactly Tobey left and Andrew right, but it was.
I think it was that.
It was literally just standing out. That was so cool. And then having the Chinese, you know, the not Chinese. What was it? Italian. Which version of the trailer had where freaking
Brazilian, the Brazilian one.
The guy gets punched by thin air, but no, and we saw that like
yeah. I saw it coming when they started swimming. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do the hero landing. It was so good. It was obviously not identical to the video, which I'm glad about. It was slightly different. They all had their own kind of different poses.
It's just the concept of it, like. Yes.
It was then they all going to collide, and it's just like the teamwork's great.
But it's
the back and forth is...
it doesn't go flawlessly. Like Tobey was at the top, and he got swallowed by Sandman. Yeah, and then having Andrew. I don't know if did it happen. Did Andrew's thing happen before? No, it was before. No, so Andrew had to. You know, because he was fighting, I'm pretty sure, Electro or Lizard.
Lizard. He was fighting
Lizard. And eventually he got the time, you know, by webbing him up, I think, he got the time to grab the device, throw it to Tom. Tom threw it to Peter, who, of course, with his spidey senses, knew exactly when to reach out.
Yeah. Oh, man. And the device was the exact same one, the exact same particle device that was in like Spider-Man 3. It looked identical.
Oh, I didn't
Still the same
that.
spinning thing.
I just noticed the green smoke. And then we got the Mark scene from Spider-Man 3. You know, him turning back into human.
Oh yeah, him doing that thing there.
But you also saw it quality wise. Did you notice? He was not 4K.
Oh no! I think it was slightly.
I definitely. Maybe it's because like I don't know. Maybe don't know if you noticed, but like maybe it's the editor's mind that we have. But I noticed that editing thing. Like it's impossible. You cannot. I mean, it's not impossible. It's really hard to make something that's low quality from its origin high quality.
Yeah.
So I definitely noticed the difference in camera from 2002, or I think Spider-Man 3 was in 2009. Or 2006, I don't know, one of the two. But I think 2006. But I definitely noticed the camera quality difference between back in the day and 20 years later. Like, that's how I knew, also with the scene looking familiar. Like, those two clues told me, yes, that scene is from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. I just looked at the movement specifically and the facial expression. I was like, why does he look shocked? like, surely he should be like, quite happy, but no, it's like it was literally identical from Spider-Man 3. Then they deal with Electro.
No, you missed one thing. You missed one thing. Sandman. Wait a minute.
He gets turned back to normal, then they focus on Electro.
Yeah. It happened with Doc Ock. Never mind. Let's go to Electro.
Electro was kicking their asses. Like you say, he's a really powerful villain.
Yeah.
and he was only made stronger like tenfold because of the arc reactor. But like,
And I love how the Spider-Man were not able to beat him. It was Doc Ock.
oh yeah, I'm so glad that I was a bit like, what are you doing, Doc Ock? You've gone good. Why are you helping them out?
Oh,
But then,
from the first instant, I knew exactly what I was doing.
yeah, I
But
had a feeling as well. It was just like, okay, interesting.
but I love how it was Toby's like Toby Spider-Man. Like it was Tobey Maguire Spider-Man who was telling Doc, "This is not you. This." Like he was the one to speak
Yeah,
out, not Tom, because
yeah.
he also
Oh
knew.
yeah,
But it was
because I mean
Toby.
that was the next. That was like the first time we see him in ages. So it's just like, this is not you, Doc Ock. Come on, man. Because I think he knows like that he turns good in the end. So why would
Yeah,
he? So it's just like, it was good. It was so good. Then he obviously beats Electro. It was a good fight, to be honest. It was a good fight
yeah.
between them all.
And
And then
I think it was the Toby scene first before the Andrew scene.
no, it was Andrew. It was Andrew who spoke to Max first. Then it was Toby who spoke to Doc Ock.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But obviously then they fight the lizard.
No,
The whole
not yet though.
confrontation.
Like the lizard thing happens after after Toby and Andrew had the small talk with their respective
Was it?
villains. Yep, yeah. Because I know it happened in between, not at the end. It happened in between for sure, and that's why I think it was Toby's first, and then it was Andrew's second. I'm like almost 100% certain that was the order. Toby was the first one to talk to Doc Ock. After like I don't know, maybe there was a fight scene with Lizard happening, or I don't know, something
No,
was
no,
happening.
no. The lizard happened after they spoke. Wait, was it before? I can't remember.
Like it
No,
was an
it was
intercut.
no,
It was an
it
intercut.
was so it goes. Actually, no, the lizard was before them because it goes. Tom fights the lizard. He bites into the thing. Gas explodes. Then Doctor Strange appears, sees that's happening. Maybe they wait. Then
No,
they
Doctor
talk.
Strange was way later. Doctor Strange was way later.
No, he appears when the lizard was getting cured.
Yeah,
He
but
appears.
the lizard was last to be cured.
Yeah.
So no, the conversations between no, I think it was Toby and Doc Ock talking very first, and then the action scene happened. Andrew was after Lizard, I think. I think
No,
that's the thing.
I mean, because I know the soundtrack. I recognize the soundtrack. It goes Andrew, then it's Toby. It goes Andrew first, then Toby.
No, it will.
I,
Okay, maybe
I know this. I know the soundtrack that was being played. It was.
I just watched this movie. I'm like almost 100% certain that Toby was first. Now I'm not too. I'm like 80% now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's just.
I could get the. I'm getting competitive here. Either or.
It doesn't
Either
matter.
or.
Either or. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
I don't.
I just want to talk about like I'm really happy they gave the chance to those to let them talk to each other, especially Toby and Doc Ock. Like
and hearing the theme in the background, that was
yeah.
so good.
And like Doc saying like you grew old, and Toby saying the thing back to what Doc Ock told him back in the day.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
like I'm just trying to do better.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was watching. I looked at a comment for like that scene in particular, and one of the comments was like, "It's not." He's talking to Peter. It's like he's talking to Tobey Maguire's Peter. But he's also like kind of talking to the audience. Because if you think about it, like 2005 or something was when Spider-Man 2 came out, and it's been like just 17 odd years since then. We've all grown older, since then. He was like, oh, it's almost as if he's talking to us, the audience.
Yeah.
We're all newer people, But that was just a little comment I saw. I was like, oh, that's pretty. I mean, if that was legitimate, that's pretty cool. But I mean, that's quite an interesting nod to the fans there, if that's the case. But no, the whole scene was great. It was so nice seeing, a nice Doc Ock talking to
An older Peter, yeah.
An older Peter. He is literally an older Peter. It's just like, it was weird. It was,
yeah.
And then obviously, yeah. No, I know. I was gonna say a thing. You go.
Yeah. I was gonna say then the second conversation or the first doesn't matter. In this case, the second. The Andrew, the Andrew Spider-Man and Electro, where they made the Miles Morales thing
reference. That was good.
Reference, and also having like good. The nobody thing, because you gotta remember that's like I'm a nobody again, and he was like, no, you're not a nobody. You're like
a genius.
You're a genius. We recognize I'm your friend, and with having a mask off as well. And it's like, it's like very, it's like he was.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a really It was a very nice kind of moment. It's like it kind of shows that even it doesn't matter who you are, not easily, but you can be like cured, redeemed.
Yeah. And
It was
then
nice.
Doctor Strange.
Appears.
But no, wait. No. He
So
appeared.
he comes through. He sees Peter as healing the
Yeah,
lizard.
but before Rhino was chasing MJ and Ned because they couldn't close the portal, and he went
Rhino.
in. Not Rhino. Lizard. I'm sorry. Lizard. Guy. Lizard. I mean, his name is Lizard, right?
Yeah, it's lizard. Yeah.
Lizard. So Lizard went through the portal. Tom chased after Lizard to save Ned and MJ. Ned and MJ then had to, go back on the railing. And I'm not sure if Doctor Strange. What happened? Why did MJ fall?
Oh, that comes a bit later. I know why
It's later. Okay,
fell.
never mind.
That comes a bit
so
later.
it was the Goblin, right?
It was the Goblin when he appears.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't too sure. No, okay, so yeah, no. Then it's like, they're fixing them. They're fixing them. It's working. And what was Doctor Strange doing then?
He was basically just scolding Peter. It's like, I've been hanging over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours. And then I love that they were like taught like Toby and Andrew like go and defend Tom. Like, you were hanging over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours? You could have done something.
Yeah.
You could have helped.
Exactly.
Defending my boy, and I love that. But then obviously the Green Goblin appears. And I'm surprised at how well the Green Goblin like handled everyone in that situation.
He even handled Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah, he handled Doctor Strange. He handled Doc Ock. Knocked the bomb into that little cube thing, which then caused
that was so sick.
That was sneaky. I loved how all the cameras like panning in all the Spider-Man, realizing, oh shit, that's a bomb.
And then blows up. I think then MJ fell.
Yeah, that's
and
when MJ
fell. Tom had the first rolling through the iron bars that Andrew had.
Mm.
But then he got taken away by the glider.
Yeah.
And then Andrew.
Oh,
you can say.
Man. It was so satisfying. Yeah, seeing Andrew, noticing the situation, realizing what's happening, goes and saves MJ. And it's such a redemption for him to finally catch someone.
And then he was crying himself. He's like, in his mind thinking, if only I could have done this with Gwen.
Yeah, it's so depressing. And then MJ's just like, are you okay? And he's just like, yep. I'm like, I probably felt for that man. If you watch reactions for that scene, bro, everyone's cheering for Andrew. Yeah. Everyone's like, go on, son, yeah.
I need to see the audience reactions because I just literally when I'm recording this, I just got home. Like
Jesus. Yeah, man.
I
fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I haven't seen Bro, but I don't know if you could see. Like, I've been yawning and stuff in my eyes. I am so tired. Like,
I was so drained from the movie yesterday. I came home, dropped off my friend over at his house, which is like 20 minutes away. Came back, and as soon as I went into my bedroom, I just slept. I was drained from that movie. I was so drained.
I'm gonna sleep soon, but no, I woke up at 5 a.m. and it's now 10 p.m. almost. So I am awake for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 plus 12, which is 18 hours.
Jesus Christ, yeah. We'll go through this quite quickly then.
No. We can take our sweet time. Trust me. But I'm just saying, if I'm yawning, that's why.
Yeah, that's fine. So then obviously the next scene after he gets saved is Tom's on the glider. You can sense the fucking rage in him. He gets the bomb and just sticks in the glider, blows up, and then. Honestly, this whole scene here was where Tom Holland's acting shined so well.
He literally
went full evil. My
connection that I made was Anakin Skywalker.
When he's kind of just
he acted with his face, pure rage, just fighting.
And Willem was just egging it on. His acting was so good. I think
that was also the scene he was just literally laughing like the Joker.
Oh yeah, he was going mad. He was going mad, and then Tom was just like, I'm going to tear you apart. I'm going to kill you right now. And he's like, "Atta boy." And then they start fighting. The whole fight sequence is so good. Yeah. And then Tom just starts pummeling the living
And literally,
daylights.
when he was falling down, webbing it back up, boom, boom.
It just keeps it going. It was relentless. It was like, oh my god, it was actually getting to the point of like, this is kind of uncomfortable. He is literally killing this man.
Yeah.
And then he's about to finish, do the final blow
With
on
the
glider.
With the glider. And if it was Tobey, stop.
I was honestly so skeptical at this point because I genuinely thought he was going to like do this and stab Tobey. I was literally thinking about it, I was like, there's no way he would do that. No. But he catches it instead, which I'm like glad for. But
then he still got
shanked.
Just like Goblin. And I thought it was like poetic justice for Goblin.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking, like, as soon as Tobey popped up on the screen, realizing that he's a bit older now, I was like, they're not gonna like kill him off, are they?
And I was like, when he got stabbed from the back, I was like, oh no, they killed him. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it's poetic. I actually don't mind this, but still, it's Tobey, man. I don't want him to die.
It's like when you've watched enough series where it's like they're building up scenes by like getting to know the character and realizing, oh wow, they've actually having a happy life. He's living quite nicely with MJ, even though it's relatively complicated.
Was it established, by the way? Because he said his relationship was complicated.
I'm sure he's referring to the part as like he's got a relationship going, but he's Spider-Man as well as Peter Parker. Yeah,
it's like he's trying to live. Maybe that's why Andrew said that he's full-time Spider-Man and nobody focuses on his Peter.
Yeah, so it's like that would explain the complications, because he's Spider-Man and he's Peter Parker,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say there's like anything complicated between the two of them. Otherwise, I think the conversation would have gone pretty stale if they're like apart, But I forgot what I was gonna say now. Bollocks.
No, about Tobey dying.
Oh yeah, so like
Tobey dying. It's like saying the actors.
Yeah, so basically. So, like, basically, they're building up his character. We're getting to know him. He's having a happy life. And I was thinking, oh, my God, he might die here.
Yeah.
Because it's going so well, for him. Shanked. But I'm so glad that he was able to, like, pull through.
And then he's also like, I've been stabbed before. And wasn't that by Harry? If I remember
it would have been by Harry. It probably would have been by other people as well.
I just remember Harry for some reason.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's probably throughout his whole life of being Spider-Man, he's been stabbed before.
True.
But I was gonna say, but after that, when Norman gets up, or Green Goblin starts talking, like I may have struck the blow, but that whole dialogue there, oh my God, it showed complete the psychoticness of the Green Goblin. After all the beating he's been through, he's still trying to get into his mind. I'm just like, gee whiz, the Green Goblin, that was amazing. He is such a good villain.
Like, and then, he's so good, man. Willem Dafoe's such a good actor as well.
He's unreal. He's unreal as an actor.
Yeah.
And then obviously they give him the antidote and they cure him.
But how the antidote was given? Like, Andrew was throwing it. I think it was Tobey who caught it, or was it Tom?
No, Tom caught it. Tom caught it.
Yeah.
And then he straight into his neck, and then he's a cured man. And that's the end of the Green Goblin. It was good. He was such a good like main villain. He was the main villain. I know there's other villains there.
No, yeah,
but he was the main villain. So I'm so glad that he was like of all the other characters. He was the best one.
Like I said, he is Spider-Man's Joker. Like he needs to be in a spotlight.
100%. I agree. I think I 100% agree. They did all the villains such like absolute justice in this movie.
There was one you said that didn't. You didn't.
Oh,
Lizard? Lizard, yeah. So Lizard, I agree, was underutilized, but that's the trap you fall into when it comes to having a lot of villains.
Yeah, I think it's just like he didn't really have a motivation. He was just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave.
No, I think his motivation was established in the cell. He was like so obsessed with
making everyone a lizard
into a lizard.
Yeah, but I mean that's
thinking.
Just like,
thinking is for the greater good.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It was definitely the weakest.
It was the weakest motivation for me. It would sound like a very black and white villainy kind of motivation.
But to be fair, like
lizards.
Thankfully, I am a Tobey fanboy. Not Andrew's villains are not like my priority. So I don't really mind having Lizard being a little sidelined to focus more
Sideline, yeah,
on
exactly.
being more focused on the Toby villains. So I don't mind, but I could definitely see people who, especially the Andrew fanboys who like Lizard and stuff, who are like, bro, they haven't focused too much on my favorite villains.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I
But
can see that.
I don't really mind. So
No, I
like,
don't mind. There would have had to been one villain that's going to be sidelined or benched. So
yeah,
I'm kind of glad it was the lizard. But they did the villains so well in this movie. I'm
it,
surprised.
it's
I'm very
incredible.
surprised.
Yeah,
Um,
like
they
there's so much that
they
could have gone wrong, and it
they
didn't.
yeah, they made Tom Holland feel like he couldn't do anything without help. You know,
Yeah,
he made them like that. They made Green Goblin just like the origin villain. You know, there's always one origin villain, and that's the Green Goblin for
just like Toby's.
Tom, just like Toby's. Oh, so what kick-started off Toby kick-started off this Spider-Man. It's just like it's brilliant,
And
so
then
well done.
I think we have to go to the last ending of the movie, which is the multiverse is coming along. People coming through from, I'm pretty sure, the animated shows, the comics, all the people who know Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw like the Scorpion, I saw the Rhino. I couldn't see all of them because it was going by so quickly. But I think if you were to pause that scene, you'd probably be able to recognize all
Yeah, like the silhouettes, yeah.
the baddies, yeah, all the
And then
silhouettes. I saw Scorpion and Rhino. I was like, oh,
I did not
oh.
recognize anyone. But no, so yeah, it had to be like how do you say, Tom learned in this movie about responsibility. He, by his brilliant mind, told not Stark, told Doctor Strange, listen, if simply everyone forgets it's me, then we basically reverse the effect that's happening. If we go to the source, like I'm gonna take responsibility of being Spider-Man, I'm gonna take responsibility of the mistake I made, I'm gonna sacrifice. And that's the most important thing about Spider-Man as a whole, as a character. It's sacrifice. This Tom Holland Spider-Man for the last few movies has been too selfish, too much self-centered, doesn't understand the burden of being responsible and having to sacrifice your own life, your own personal life, just like Andrew, because he sacrificed his whole Peter Parker thing. Like he's
Yeah.
full-time Spider-Man, he said. So this is the moment when Tom Holland's Spider-Man takes responsibility, says, everyone, including you, including my friends, let them forget about me. I'm gonna do this. This will
Yeah.
fix everything. And then
Yeah.
you have the Doctor Strange moment where he slipped up and saying, your friends, we will forget it. There was the we.
Yeah.
So he includes himself, and he caught himself saying that. He was like, dang it. Why am I... okay. And then in the end, calling back to the very beginning, like, you can call me Steven.
Yeah.
And then repeating the same joke in this case, which is really done well. Like, repeating jokes normally is in bad taste, but in this case, it's perfectly executed, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like, it's bittersweet. It's so bittersweet, but it's just like, that's what Spider-Man is. And that's why I like Spider-Man. It's like, he's not because he's got superpowers, but he's relatable. He's a man who goes through shit. He loses so much. And that's what we go through. I don't think there's many superhero movies where the main superhero loses a lot. There's not much self-sacrifice. But Spider-Man, he is literally sacrificing a lot, almost everyone, to save millions. And it's just like the self-sacrifice and the responsibility that he has to uphold. It was great, the ending, and it was so bittersweet. It's like, oh my god, he's literally on his own now.
Yeah.
He is on his own. Even Happy didn't
But
recognize
that's
him.
a bit
It's
too
like,
far. It's a bit too far. I do want to talk about that, but it's a bit too far. I think we can talk about the last goodbye Tom did with the Andrew and Tobey Spider-Man.
Yeah, oh man, I was just like,
It was
such a journey. It was such a journey.
Yeah.
Waiting all these months just
and I
to
love
see that.
Yeah, it's just it's incredible to see. I do love the bromance between Andrew and Tobey at the end. Like they're just
it's so good.
in like a thing, like Tobey is of course still injured, and Andrew at the end says, "You're in a lot of pain, right?" He's like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
my back.
Oh
But
man.
no, yeah, it's I don't really remember what they said. The three of them again.
It's like they're all just being awkward. Like Tom can't really conjure up the words to say, and
Oh
then they all
yeah,
just go, "We know what you're trying to say. We know
yeah,
what you're trying to say," and then they all hug. I'm like, "Oh my god, the three Spider-Men are hugging!"
yeah.
You know,
So, oh, and
all the
also
Spider-Men for the generations are
one thing
hugging.
as well. I don't know where. I think it's a scene early in the movie. They did very subtly because I saw the photos as well. They've done the pointing Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, and the science thing was in the
Yeah, the
science
science,
room.
the freeway. They've very subtly
They did
done
that.
it. It's not
Yeah,
like very obvious. They like done it like this.
yeah. I was only told by a friend that was the pointing thing. I was like, oh, I really wish I saw that.
Yeah, I also
Um,
missed it. I also missed it. So you're not alone.
so I had a friend tell me about that. Um, and then yeah, seeing them like Tom say goodbye to him, it's just like, wow, that's it, really, isn't it? That's we're not gonna see him again after, is it? We're never gonna get another movie with them. That's it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, I don't think Tobey Maguire.
I don't think he will get another movie.
I don't.
Maybe Andrew,
Not
but
movie, but the thing is though, like with Andrew and Tobey, especially with Disney, because they're both owned by Disney. And I'm just looking at Star Wars. Like Luke Skywalker is most likely gonna have a TV show. Like there have been rumors, and the rumors have been correct for the Thrawn, Ezra, Ahsoka show, Obi-Wan Kenobi show. All those rumors were true. Obi-Wan Kenobi being Ewan McGregor returning
mm,
as well. Like TV shows has been used by Disney to reintroduce actors from the movies. And
mm,
I think if there's ever a chance, especially for Andrew, Tobey, I'm not too sure about to be honest, but if there's ever a chance for any of them to return, it will be in some sort of isolated TV
mm,
show,
that would be
especially
good.
and especially because they are doing a multiverse approach in the MCU right now, which as a DC fan, I'm kind of like, come on, DC did it first, but no, you're pulling it off, Marvel. I see you're pulling it off. I'm
They've
actually
been when did what year did the multiverse thing come out for DC?
DC.
It would have been in the comics, obviously,
It
but
was in. I don't know if which the first one was. I think it might be Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I'm not too sure if that's the first multiverse. Let me look it up. DC
yeah.
first multiverse. It was in 1961.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, you did. It was earlier, yeah. It was like 10 years earlier.
I think this was yeah, this is Crisis. Like I said, Crisis on Infinite Earths is I think the first time the multiverse has been canonically accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
According to what I'm seeing here, by the way, I could be entirely wrong, but no, yeah, Marvel isn't the first one to
Mm,
But the thing is, Marvel and DC do copy each other a lot of times, and I think it's good
yeah.
because with Marvel doing the multiverse really well, I really hope it motivates DC to not be lazy with it. Like
Mm,
the competition is always good, always.
mm.
So because it tells people to do better, it tells the respective companies to do better, and who will profit? Us, because we will
Yeah,
have better quality. It is, it's not like Call of Duty,
yeah.
for example, who doesn't have competition. They're all just like release whack games because there's no competition.
Oh, don't
Anyway,
get me started on that.
a little tangent there. Anyway, yeah, no, just
That would be good if we can get like an Andrew Garfield series, or just
yeah,
like, oh, or even just a multiverse series where it's just about different Spider-Man each episode. One episode be about Tobey at some point, one episode be about Andrew at
true,
some point, and one
very
episode be
true.
about the future Spider-Man. That would have been cool,
That would be
but I don't know
awesome.
that. I don't know if that will ever happen. But we still finally get closure
We
on.
have some sort of
Oh,
closure.
and we have some sort of closure for Andrew and Toby, and it was a great closure.
Oh yeah,
I was satisfied with how much time they were spent on the screen. I
I
was
agree.
very satisfied. Um, but then anyway, moving on from there because otherwise I could talk about them for ages.
Exactly. So,
Um,
Tom Holland, Spider Man, goes to MJ and Ned to tell the bad news. And
yeah, and I mean, I was a bit choked in the throat, just a bit,
me
just
too,
like,
especially with MJ's reaction.
mm, yeah, it was like, wow, she's
That really hit
really.
me.
Yeah, she's showing a lot more emotion than she usually. Shit, that's kind of hitting hard. Ugh, right. Jesus.
We haven't talked about
Yeah.
MJ in the movie, but she's been pulled off perfectly. Like
Mm,
I can say, in my opinion, my humble opinion, MJ in this movie is the best, like, Spider-Man's girlfriend. I don't really like giving that title because she's more than that, but like, she's the best Spider-Man girlfriend in any Spider-Man movie whatsoever. I love the OG
Yeah.
Mary Jane, trust me, and Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man was sick, but this MJ had a real impact. Like, she helped Tom Spider-Man go through things. She came up with ideas. She was comic relief. She had an arc of her own. She was pessimistic at the first, and then throughout, like, small things made her steer a certain
Yeah.
way. And then when uh when Tom Spider-Man told the three Spider-Man before they went to the Statue of Liberty, which I also have to touch on, before they went to the Statue of Liberty, uh, Tom said, I think we have to go through this with the mindset of things going wrong. That's what,
Mm.
and then it was MJ who said, no, don't do that. Go positive. I think it will be all right. We can do this. Like, that was, she
Yeah.
was more, so MJ in this movie has been done really well, and it's super difficult for movies, especially Spider-Man movies, because I don't agree with this opinion per se, but it is something that fans have said online, is the supporting girlfriend characters are mostly lacking. I don't really agree with it, but that's what has been said by people from the fan
Yeah.
base.
They're either used as like sometimes, and this was shown a lot in Tobey Maguire's movies, but like Mary Jane was always being captured by the big guy, and it's just
Yeah.
like, but
So-
I don't think Zendaya got captured once
No.
in this. I mean, she was involved in the chaos, but she was never like the main, the main thing, the main damsel in distress.
Exactly. No, she perfectly done.
Yeah, she's done a very good job throughout this.
I want to say something that happened in the last scene, but will have meaning with what we're talking about now. The Statue of Liberty was being used as Captain America's shield. It was placed, and with the shield falling, with of course the Mary Jane thing, and a little bit at the end, just going a little bit in the future, it was changed to the original statue. The shield is no more. Iron Man's influence, I'm sorry, Mrs. Stark, is gone. Finally. And that is basically telling the audience, like, New York City will not be influenced by Iron Man. New York City will now be influenced by its original Spider-Man, which is, I'm talking original as in the hometown guy. This is the normal Statue of Liberty. It's from a normal kid who's broke. But anyway, I'm gonna continue about this later when we're there. But it's just the
I
meaning.
can understand though.
But
I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just the visual storytelling, which I really appreciate in every form of filmmaking. Visual storytelling is an underrated form of storytelling. Exposition is when you're basically telling the audience what you want to know and what you mean. But if you have visual, it just lets you think about stuff, and that's what I like. But no, so. Wait, yeah. Go.
I was gonna say, actually, I'll continue that just a little bit. It's like even like earlier on, where like Stark's machines are the ones behind like all this. It's like they're getting investigated into, and then closer to the end, which we'll get into a bit, is like Iron Man's suit isn't there anymore. He's stricken of all that, but we'll get to that.
Well, one more thing to add on is you said, which is actually something I've never really thought about. The first set of cures were all done by Stark's machine. The second set of cures were all done by the Spider-Man in the laboratories. It's another
neat little thing. Yeah, it's not like neat little thing that's like been noticed. Like very dependent on Stark, but now it's like, no, this is me. I gotta do this now.
Exactly. Yeah, but
my own kind of story. But yeah,
let's go back on the telling them he's gonna forget about them and stuff.
I was about to say to fuck off. Telling them to fuck off. But no, the music in that scene in particular was what was hitting me the most. You could see the pain and the sorrow in like Tom's face, and the music was just like swelling. It was like it was crazy, and I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is literally the death of Peter Parker.
I would say this is the death of Iron Man Jr.
Iron Man Jr.
You're gonna cry?
You're gonna cry. You're You're gonna cry, little Iron Man Junior. Brilliant. Love that. I didn't make that. I didn't connect that. That was brilliant. That was a brilliant one there. But yeah, no, it was super sad. And seeing Strange complete the spell, it's just like that's it. They're only gonna know Spider-Man. They're not gonna know who's underneath. And even if they do know, it's like, well, who are we gonna connect it to?
And
That's it.
yeah, but then we go to the scene in the is it first the MJ scene, or is it the Aunt May scene? I think it's the Aunt May scene first, right?
No, it goes Aunt May afterwards. Yes, Aunt May afterwards. So
Oh, so
it's snowing, and then he goes to the shop to
he goes to the shop. He goes to the shop where she's
see.
working with
Yeah.
her abusive dad. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no, I think it's just the abusive shop owner.
I honestly think it's the abusive dad, like a family.
I don't
This
know who it is.
maybe I'm trying to connect it too much to Tobey Maguire because MJ comes from like an abusive family.
All right. Well,
I
I mean, she did when she was working at that like food place before, and that guy was pretty like abusive as well.
Exactly, but I don't think like an abusive boss doesn't really, I don't know, for story and for like personal thing, it doesn't. You can just quit. Like you cannot simply quit if your parents, you know. So in my mind, this is like a family business.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I'm
I
not
don't
too
know.
sure.
I'm not sure either. But yeah, Peter memorizing the lines, trying to basically like what he's promised MJ and Nat before the minds got wiped. Like, I will come to you and I will make sure you guys will remember.
Yeah, it's so it hurts. It hurts that scene.
Yeah, and halfway giving up.
Yeah, and he just sees them all just like living a normal life. He sees them all just with no worries in their lives. They go into MIT. There's nothing for them to, you know, no one in particular to think about anymore. And he noticed, like, I think when she like lifts up her hair and shows a plaster, he's like, I did that to her.
Yeah.
Me being me in my life, I caused her to hurt because she's like, oh yeah, no, it stopped hurting like yesterday. So I was like, you know, I did that to her because I was involved. And I think he just came to the realization of, I just need to let it go. I just need to let them go. You know, it was sad. It was actually sad, you know, see these guys who have been together since the first Homecoming movie. You know, it's just it was a bit depressing. You know, he's literally got no one at the moment.
At the moment,
you
no.
know,
but as also.
Yeah,
I want to say the original chemistry, not the original, but the chemistry between MJ and Peter. At the beginning, MJ was still distant, you know. In you know, in the shop, she was like the distant normal, like, hey, what do you want? What do you want? You know, like, do you want coffee? Like, but then during the conversation, like, say the moment he started talking, asking her about MIT, showing interest, it was a very. I think that's also why Peter realized, yeah, I have to do this the normal way. It was a very organic way, because you can see with the hair flipping behind, like MJ was catching small bits of feelings on a normal, like in a natural way. So that's how Peter, I think, because it was mentioned earlier, by someone, I don't know who, that if MJ, oh yeah, it was by Doctor Strange, that if MJ forgot Peter is Spider-Man, that Peter was wondering if MJ will still be with him, and then Doctor Strange said that you will only, if she then you at least know if she loves you for you or if she loves you for being Spider-Man. Yeah. And with Peter then like noticing like the awkwardness between them and basically the spark, I think he noticed, yeah, MJ loves me for being me, so I think I can do this without doing all this rehearsal stuff. Let things go the natural flow, the natural way. But about
he can easily, I was like, he can easily just go back to the shop every so often and just like have chats with them and eventually, you know, get back together again. But he'll never know the life beforehand.
Yeah, and he can basically try and do the Peter Parker double life for a second attempt. He can basically, you know, with the responsibility he now feels, he can keep that a secret and see if he can maybe in his personal life do something with her. But with Nat, I haven't really seen any implication on Peter trying to befriend him.
Yeah, he might. I don't know, but there's one thing I want to say, like, about this whole ending, right? And even from what I've seen or heard in interviews, is like, if this is a closure for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it can literally stop here. because we know from here on out
It will probably
he
be
become
like Toby's. Probably.
he is like he is basically Spider-Man. We know what happens from here on out.
Yeah.
He becomes Spider-Man. He protects the neighborhood. He protects New York as Spider-Man. We
Yeah.
know what happens here on out. You know, so if this is closure for his Spider-Man and he doesn't act as Spider-Man again, that's fine because it does a good job at that point.
But he will return. It has been
he will
said,
return.
Thankfully,
he will return. But he's on break. For like
he's on break, which is because of his Uncharted movie comes out in February. He wants to do other stuff. Like he's pretty smart, I'd say. Tom Holland is a smart guy. He knows I need to do more acting jobs, just like Willem Dafoe, and just like you don't want to be associated with one movie, so you cannot escape that. Like after the Spider-Man is done, you cannot act in other movies. There's like a lot of examples. Like for example, Samuel Jackson. Like he got away with it. He acted in a lot of movies before he went to the movies he became iconic in. So he has the freedom to be picked and chosen everywhere. Like he's in Marvel, he's in Star Wars, he's in freaking everywhere. He's in Shawshank Redemption, he's in everything. I think that's what Tom wants to do, and that's why taking a break is really healthy. And what I want to see in the future, I don't know if you agree with me, I want to see an actual Sony Spider-Man movie in this setting that we have created now, with Tom Holland Spider-Man being a kid who doesn't have endless money by Stark's, you know, with Stark's technology, Stark's industries, whatever.
Influence.
He is a broke college student, basically Spider-Man in a nutshell. Like the Spider-Man Stan Lee wanted to make a relatable guy who has money issues, who has relationship issues. Spider-Man was Stan Lee's most how do you say it? Like the most relatable character ever. He is amongst the people. He is with the people, and that's something that the MCU was missing. So I really hope. Like, I don't mind Spider-Man being in MCU crossovers, but for his solo movies, I really want it to be solo.
Yeah, I'll see what happens, because I mean, from here on out, they can literally do whatever they want. They could, but obviously with the there's more at stake because of his identity. You know, he wants to keep that secret. He wants to keep that secret now. Now that because obviously that feeling of, oh god, they're gonna know who he is. That wasn't there in the last two movies because everyone fucking knows who he is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more at stake, but obviously that's not gonna be there till 5 years now, probably. I'm not too sure. I will be like nearly 30 by that point, and he's 25. He's gonna be 30 if he's not gonna do another Spider-Man movie in 5 years' time.
He's gonna do it pretty soon. I'm pretty sure he's gonna take like 1 or 2 year break. That's it.
I think so too.
Because I'm pretty sure Disney wants a young Spider-Man as well.
Yeah, but I must say as well, like going into the bit when he goes to the apartment, you know, he moves into his flat, and he's making his new suit. I don't know if you noticed.
He has multiple.
But the suit that he swings in at the end, that is the comic book accurate Spider-Man.
Yeah. I did notice that. No, I did not know, but I noticed that the eyes were still Tom Holland's eyes. Like his eyes are iconic, like it's more round. It's not really comic accurate, I think.
Yeah. Yes,
because it's his eyes.
The way it's patterned, where it looks, that is the comic book accurate Spider-Man.
That's cool. That's really cool.
And even in the comic books, his eyes still like do this.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, they're not like very huge circles.
Oh no, they're not big. They're not big as like they used to.
But that's still being kept to show. Yeah, this is Tom Holland's iconic look.
This is Spider-Man now. This is the Spider-Man. There's no. I'm so glad they got rid of the Iron Spider suit, like, because that was making him too strong.
I just don't really like any of those iterations. Like I don't even.
I really like the one they showed at the end. The one suit I liked, it was the one they showed right at the end. You know, I really like that. Yeah, his own
made suit. Yeah, and you know what I also love? You will know because you watched the Spider-Man the first Spider-Man movie from Tobey Maguire, and I just love how it's the generational difference. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3, who was basically looking for an out. He was looking for distraction, so he put up the radio, tuned the radio to the frequency of the police and basically every emergency thing. He's just waiting there in his symbiotic suit, and he's just waiting to see what's happening. Boom, something happens. Out of the window, I'm going there. In this movie, Tom Holland has on his phone the radio,
Yeah.
set
Yeah.
frequency to the emergency thing, and that's just a callback in the same apartment in my mind. In the same apartment, a callback to what Spider-Man was doing, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was doing, and that just shows how like, yeah, this is a college kid. Spider-Man was a college kid as well in Tobey Maguire's thing, like a college kid. I mean, he's a college kid in everywhere. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. College kid is broke, has to has to worry about rent, and
Yeah, rent, honestly.
made his own suit, and is going to save New York.
That's it. That's the origin. Like 3 movies of origin. It's just, it was. I can't say much better than it was bloody amazing. It was such a journey, that movie.
It was.
I was sweating buckets from beginning to end.
Yeah,
me
me
too. So
too.
many
But
people in the room, but
for me, it was more because of my bladder.
Oh man, what else is there to say now? Then is that it?
Well, we have two. I don't know if you saw the second one, but we have two end credit scenes.
Okay, let's go through
Did-
this.
did you- did you
I
see-
need to get. I
Did you
need
see
to
them
go to the
both?
shop soon because I need to get food.
Okay,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw them both.
I did not see the second one, so you have to tell me what that is.
Okay, so obviously the first one, Eddie Brock appears, which
Mhm.
I generally think because he was only there because of the 6th spell. That's mad if that is the case.
Yeah.
You know, there were 6 spells, but Tom's like, no, I only said 5 things. There were 6. That would be funny. And then the second one was a trailer for Doctor Strange's movie.
Interesting. Okay, so I didn't really miss Spider-Man related things.
No, so there's no Spider-Man related stuff apart from the symbiote being
The
released.
symbiote is released in the MCU, which is amazing.
I'm so glad they did that.
So we have a chance for Venom.
Yes, we have a chance for them in the next film, possibly.
Yeah. For me, in my opinion, I'm gonna be quick because you need to go to the shop. In my opinion, I think Spider-Man it performs best if it's a Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man with the Avengers, I don't really like, to be honest. Like, it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't like Spider-Man with the Avengers.
I think that might be depending on the fact that the Spider-Man we saw originally was a young Peter Parker who's only just getting he was only like a couple months, maybe even obviously a couple months into Civil War, and then he only had his powers maybe like a year or two by Endgame, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe he was still a rookie, he was still learning. So maybe if he pops up in another one, he'll be completely different. His way of he'll be a completely different person, the way he thinks, the way he does things because of the responsibilities he has now.
That might be when I will enjoy it. But I think in his own movies, it should just be his movies. Like give Tom Holland an actual chance, because all his solo movies that we had from this point, including this one, unfortunately, but this one a lot less, thankfully, it was all related to Avengers. It was all related to Captain America, to Stark. We did not actually, if you think about it, we did not have a solo, full-on Spider-Man story about Tom Holland.
Just Tom Holland Spider-Man, I guess. Yeah.
Just think of like an isolated story, just like in Amazing Spider-Man and in Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I think that might happen in the next one then, because I mean, who else have they got to talk about for him?
That's my hope. That's literally my hope. Just give me a normal Tom Holland standalone Spider-Man movie, and it will be good. Because you don't have to worry about, you know.
Yeah, I think that will happen. I think that will happen next one. It'll be standalone. It'll be just him. Like that'll be it, really. I don't know much else to think about. But other than that,
we've talked.
What are we rating this movie out of? I don't know how we're gonna rate it, but
Jesus, no, this movie is better than I thought this movie would be. Like, let's do a boring out of 10 thing for now. I thought this movie would be a 6 out of 10 at first. This movie is a 9 out of 10. It's high, but it's fully deserved. Fully, I would say 10 out of 10, but you
don't want to give it that.
I don't want to give it its maximum points because I don't know, but I almost see no actual flaws in this movie, and it's
I will also give it a 9. Before this whole movie came out, there was so many things I was worried about.
Same.
Because obviously it was introducing Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Lizard, Electro, Sandman. It's like, how are you going to flesh out and give a good amount of screen time to all these villains? How are you going to do that? And I was so worried they were going to portray the Goblin in a really bad light, because in recent Marvel movies, I don't like in the Eternals, Shang-Chi, a few of those movies recently, the reception has not been quite good. I'm not gonna. I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen it, but I've just heard the reception's not been too good for those movies. So
I've also not seen them.
Yeah, so I've just been kind of like, right, please do not ruin these villains for me. And obviously, listening to the panels and hearing like Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe talk about these characters brought back a little confidence for me. But I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It was like, I'm surprised at how little we've actually spoken about like Tobey and Andrew.
I think we've talked quite a bit about
I'm sure we have. It just feels like we haven't spoken about them a lot, but maybe we have. I'd probably say that, but it's been like 50 odd minutes of us just talking about them. I don't even want to ask how long we've been recording for because I'm scared.
Should I tell you?
I'm guessing because it's 1:15. I think you might have called maybe nearly 2 hours.
We're nearly at 3 hours, my boy. 15 more minutes. We are 2 hours 45 minutes.
Oh my! This is literally a podcast episode.
It is
with us.
It's literally just a podcast fully on Spider-Man. It just shows us how much we enjoyed it. Because I told Turtle, I told you at the beginning, do you have 10 minutes spare? Because I really thought this movie 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's funny. 10 minutes. My God, but that was fantastic. Honestly, I absolutely enjoyed that. I would recommend though, for anyone who is ever going to watch this movie, you have to have watched like 5 movies before. You have to watch, obviously, maybe the Far From Home. What? Maybe not Far From Home. You could just say, you probably just figure out that he lost.
True, yeah, but Far From Home could be like I'd say one of the must watches. Of course,
I'd probably say a must watch. Yeah,
all the Amazing Spider-Man movies and Tobey Maguire movies is a must.
That's 6 movies in total. Yeah. You have to watch 6 movies in total just to enjoy this. But I mean, it's fucking worth it though, because all 6 movies are great to watch. So I think like it's just something you have to do.
You have to, yeah.
It's your responsibility to watch all those movies, so that's why I can just recommend it. And then you'll have the best experience ever watching this extravaganza of a movie. But yeah, final words from you, Codic.
Final words is I love this. I absolutely love this. I'm not gonna lie, this movie made me I'm probably gonna buy the PS5 Spider-Man game, because I've never played it. I think it will be a fun one to stream as well, because I have never played it, and this will be my actual first, besides the Miles Morales, because I've seen gameplay of Miles Morales, like the whole story, which is of course bad, because the normal Spider-Man comes first, but I was not really spoiled on the first Spider-Man by that game, so I'm good. But besides Miles Morales, which is focused more on Miles, this game will be my first venture outside the movies in Spider-Man.
Oh, bro, you have to play it. I'm not gonna say much, but you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Probably. But yeah,
it's my final words. Like, yeah, it's sick. It's awesome. I love Spider-Man. Always have. Always will. But yeah, if you have made it this far in the video, please let us know. Like, I'm actually genuinely curious if someone's gonna listen to this for 3 hours. I'm actually.
Oh God.
in 10 minutes, this hits 3 hours.
You just make it a black screen for 10 minutes.
Jeez.
Make a black screen for 10 minutes.
Well, just please let us know in the comments below. Like, I am really curious. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for, talking Spider-Man with me, Turtle. I really needed to talk Spider-Man.
I needed to talk with someone, because there's no one else I could talk to. Because everyone in like our server is like basically deleted the app because we've seen it. We can't talk to everyone.
They all have tickets on Sunday. Yeah,
it's been so good though.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it, and take care. Check out Turtle in the description below, by the way. Take care.